Some may find the following disturbing. Discretion is advised.
What's up? This is Joel Buniwe, a.k.a. Iggy, and you guys are listening to Bears Barroom Radio.
Bam! Nice.
One take? I knew this dude. He's like a pre-med student.
Tell him how long it took Akeem Hicks to do it.
Yeah, we had a 4-hour show that night. So it was crazy.
Hold on, let me do it again.
He had me text it to him so he could read it and stuff.
Oh, man, that was too easy. Come on, King. Come on, King. You got to be better than that.
Kyle Long ripped it off pretty quick. He was actually on the show with Akeem. He ripped it off real quick. The big old line.
Yeah, Kyle was throwing F-bombs and saying, listen to fucking 100 proof.
Keep it at 100, baby. That's what he said.
What's up, Barflies and Bears Bar Room? This is Aaron Current, a.k.a. the Bearded Bears fan. And I'm going to make a case for why I should be on the new and improved Barfly Tailgate Show. Let me just start off by saying I live in Kentucky. I'm a huge Bears fan, and I've been a Bears fan for about a decade now. I guess that's a little less than most people, but that's neither here nor there. I've been a football fan for my entire life. I have played since I was 7 years old, and until my sophomore year. My parents weren't together, so when I turned 16, I decided to start working and help Mom out with the bills, so I was unable to play football and work at the same time. But my passion and my love for the game of football has never changed or swayed. Growing up, being here in Kentucky, I'm not going to lie, I was a Cincinnati Bengals fan, so I have a history of heartbreak as well. But my beautiful wife, Mallory, she is from Chicago, and her dad's from Chicago. And when I met her, I started watching the Bears and fell in love with the Chicago Bears. And now I'm a bigger fan than she is or her dad. So, of course, back then they had Hester and Urlacher and, you know, Briggs and Tillman and those guys. So it was fun to watch. And it's getting fun again. And I love the Chicago Bears. I follow it. I am what Matt Nagy looks for, the be obsessed, the be obsessed that he says. That's how I am. I'm actually so obsessed with the Chicago Bears that when I talk to people, I almost feel like I told my wife this today, she's in nursing school and she tries to talk to me about what's going on with nursing, and it's like she's speaking Spanish to me or German or something. When I'm talking about football and I'm like, look, we got one-on-one coverage up top, you know what I'm saying, or we should run a play action here, or give me some Jordan Howard here, you know what I'm saying, they look at me the same way, like, how did you know that was coming, what's going on here? And I'm a student of the game. Like I said, I played my whole life. My whole family played. I found the Bears Bar Room years ago following Draft Dr. Phil when he was with Lauren Cox doing Bears Hour Live, and then I switched over to the Bar Room. And I've been a fan of the Bar Room before we were even called Barflies. I feel like I'm more than little qualified for the position of the Barfly podcast, and I feel like I have pretty good insight. I mean, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I kind of know what I'm looking at, and I know, like I said, I feel like I know what I'm looking at when I'm looking at football. I have a pretty good football IQ, not only of the Bears, but of around the NFL as a whole. And I know it's the Barfly Tailgate Show, or whatever we're going to call it. We don't only talk Bears, we talk about all the other games that are going on, as well as fantasy football. And I've been a fantasy football player since I graduated high school in 2007 and started playing fantasy that same year. Even spent some years in the Army over in Korea. I've always got a league or two going on. I went over my time. We were supposed to do 3 minutes. I went a little over. But I hope you guys take me into consideration, and if you don't, I appreciate your time, and I appreciate I appreciate what the Bears Bar Room does for us rabid fans who know what the hell we're watching and want to get away from the frauds and the pussy boy keyboard fucking fuck guys, the Chicago Audible, etc. Thank you, Draft Dr. Phil. Thank you, Shayne Marsaw. Thank you, Bobby Bombs. Thanks for your service. Thank you, Joey Two Scoops. And thank you, Aldo Gandia. Bear down.
Boom!
Bears Bar Room, 100 proof. This show here is dedicated to authenticity and to passion and to the loyal Chicago Bears fans out there. There's no talk about what Joe Madden's doing today or the closer. This is about the Chicago Bears, and it's dedicated to everybody out there that watched in 97 and 98 and saw 4 and 12, and it fucking hurt both years. Or the people that went through that egregiously ineptitude that we had with 3 and 13 2 years ago with John Fox, and you still watched and you still fucking cared. This podcast is for you. 100 proof. Statistical analysis is pondered here. It's respected here. But there's more to it than that. If you want substance, you want things extrapolated and broken down for you, the tape doesn't lie. This is the place for you. It's 100 proof. However, if you're one of these motherfuckers starting these straw man arguments, these keyboard tough guys on Twitter, crutching on your Pro Football Focus, then maybe you should go to one of your micro podcasts. If you're one of these guys that are blatantly uninformed and just repeating what the national media says, whatever the narrative of the day is, hot takes and so forth, even if it is a holiday, even if it is your holiday, and you don't want to be called out and criticized, then this podcast isn't for you either. If you like frauds and phony insiders talking to all their general manager contacts with their crooked fucking eyes, then maybe go to one of those said other micro podcasts. If you want the truth and you want 100% talk about the Chicago Bears, then welcome. This is 100 proof. You will not be disappointed. This is the best goddamn podcast out there. They're about to bring it for you. It's Aldo Gandia. It's Shayne, the smartest man. It's Draft Dr. Phil. It's 100 proof.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh. Yeah. Yeah. Nah, nah, nah. A Bears Bar Room, they're the ones that fight for truth. Bears are alive or 100 proof, even if the Bears win or lose. A Bears Bar Room, they're the ones that fight for truth. Bears are alive or 100 proof, no matter if the Bears win or lose. Yo, first, the smartest man, no tweets, he's never missing. Impossible, the mission, call out frauds with precision. A Bears 100 proof, these faces #1 Adora. Slaying dumb tweets, cross-eyed like Control. Never one to back down to call a fraud a lemon. Wise man, no doubt, Miller's asterisk ending. Cheers, Bears fans. The fire Puerto Rican barkeeping for Chicagoland. He's the godfather, the one, the real producer. Always keeping the show together with the voice that will seduce. Fisking out a Firefox, the old timer never stops. IPA, drafts, malts, crafts, barkeep takes the shots. No deny. Barflies appreciated worldwide. Canada, Scotland, England, Brazil, Mexico, and Dubai. Dr. Phil is the guy, the one to realize that the barroom needed a show with an endless shoot supply. Go big coat for the narrative on color, brought the Jasons of get paid for mention. Now I'm the standing up for the truth. You know your boy's a little guy. These media heads won't give us credits up to the barflies. Flies. Fuck a fraud in his keyboard, Twitter tough guys surround us. Raining truth on the Bears worldwide, barflies astound us. This is the #1 pod, that's the reality of the truth. And if you don't know us by now, Bears 100 proof. A Bears Bar Room, they're the ones that fight for truth.
Trying to find Bears truths today takes everything you got. Taking a break from all that clickbait sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to hear the truth? Sometimes you gotta go where Phil breaks down all the plays, and the smartest man's takes always slay. You wanna be where you can hear continents not the same. You wanna be where everybody knows Bears game. You wanna go where people love to Bears and tell the truth. Listen to Bears Barroom Radio 100 proof. Cheers, Bears fans!
Cheers, Bears fans! This is Bears 100 Proof. My name is Aldo Gandia. I serve the drinks here, but don't you worry, the stars of our show are here. They are, of course, Draft Dr. Phil Atoshan and Shayne, the smartest man in the barroom, Marsaw. And tonight, on 100 Proof, another Bears Barroom exclusive interview with a Chicago Bear. It will be Josh Woods, the linebacker from Maryland, who spent 2018 in the practice squad. And we have talked with other Bears before who have picked Woods to be a breakout player in 2019. We are happy he is joining us. It should be fun. And gentlemen, I want to know how you are doing, and every once in a while I will go from the norm and ask Phil first how he is doing, but not this time. I'm going back to Shayne because he was the one that locked in Josh Woods. How you doing, Shayne?
Goddamn right, Aldo.
I'm going to unmute the mic quick because I'm like, he's going to go with Shayne first. Fuck.
Phil's like, here's my fucking chance. I'm going to do it. Now give me a fucking taco, goddamn.
Yeah, these tacos are delicious, man. From California Pizza Kitchen. Maybe they'll sponsor us.
Yeah, really. Exactly.
All right, hey, we started a little late here, and we're supposed to be on the phone with Josh right now, so let me dial him up, okay?
Yes.
Is this Josh Woods?
It is. It's Josh Woods. How are you?
I am well. My name is Aldo. I'm kind of the bartender in this make-believe bar room. And then with me, our draft Dr. Phil Atoshan. Say hi, Phil, so he can hear your voice.
How you doing, Josh? Nice to finally get to speak.
Yeah, nice to get to speak. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I'm glad to have you on.
And then Shayne Marsaw, who you've been communicating with, and he locked you in for the show. Listen to Shayne's voice for the very first time. It's very sexy.
I've been called worse. Hey, Josh, what's up, man? We're glad to have you on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Josh, we're excited to talk to you about football, about your dancing, because we've talked to a lot of Chicago Bears players, and they tell us that you are the very best dancer on the linebacker squad. There's some disagreement here on who could be the best dancer overall, but we'll get to that in a little while. But first, we want to know about your career. We want to know about your experiences with the Bears, and then we'll talk dancing. So let me turn it over to Shayne Marsaw.
You gotta play the guy his special open.
Yeah, we need that open.
Oh, that's right. I keep forgetting.
We always do this with. You got to pardon our friend Josh. He's up in age.
Yep.
So he has a little bit. We're worried about him.
They're not
sending him a case of CBD oil that helps.
Here's our special open for you, Josh.
Barflies, the one position that is synonymous with the Chicago Bears football team, as you know, is linebacker. This gentleman here took his versatile talents to the University of Maryland. If you don't know who he is right now, you're about to. Just ask the Buckeyes of Ohio State. They know him. Ladies and gentlemen, get up out of your seats and give it up for the best dancer of Club Dub, the best dancer on the Chicago Bears. He's number 55. This is Josh Woods.
Oh,
nice.
Yeah. That's how you do it.
That's pretty dope.
That's how we do every player that comes on and every person that we love. We give them a special intro, right, Shayne?
Absolutely, yeah. That's the way we do it here at the bar room. I'll make sure you get I'll text you that intro, Josh, so you can have it on your phone and show it off to your boys.
Okay, cool.
You got to play it in the locker room, though. And
there you go.
Can you please tell Joel, he was supposed to send us, I wrote a song about this guy, Josh, and he was supposed to send us a video. I have a song. Aldo, cue up the song.
All right. You keep talking.
Give him
I'll
a
cue it
little
up.
taste. So,
go ahead.
I write this song about this kid because on draft day, me and Shayne talk and we break down draft. Shayne was all over Josh Woods. This is a true story. Like, this kid is son. He wanted to make sure you got drafted, but when you got in there, long story short, he was excited. But Joel, we were like, who the fuck is this dude? Like, we had no idea. And we fucking studied the draft. It just wasn't on Joel. And then we saw the tape and we're like, how the fuck did we miss this guy? And then I wrote this song. You got it, Aldo?
My bar fly and your bar fly, sitting in the draft room. My bar fly told your bar fly, we gotta get after the passer. My bar fly and your bar fly, sitting in the draft room. My bar fly told your bar fly, we gotta get after the passer. Talk about Iggy Abunawaya. We got Iggy, we got Iggy Abunawaya. Talk about Iggy Abunawaya. We got Iggy, we got Iggy Abunawaya. My rhyme pace and your GM arguing in the draft room. Ryan Pace said to your GM, we gotta get after the pass.
That's awesome, Phil.
Oh, you got to give him the rap part.
Okay,
then I look like shit.
Here it comes.
Just go to the rap and then fade it up.
It's coming up.
Coming up. Sorry.
Talk about Iggy Abunawaya. We got Iggy, we got Iggy Abunawaya.
We got the linebacker from Western Kentucky. Almost everyone turned around and said, who the fuck is he? He said, Iggy's so fast and so physical. Like the Cole Nagy back in the room, the shit is biblical. The nasty Nigerian linebacker that's remix. Hardo told the field, make the tackle such as he grabbed a quarter in the ballroom jukebox and picked a tune to play. 2018, the year of Abunawaya.
He would have thought I was like some punk. Like, okay, he's singing to me. Like, Aldo tried to fuck up my whole game. It's like, okay, Phil, that was good. Josh, this is how we roll here. We keep it 100. I'm doing songs, but you feel the rhythm of that song. I figured Joel, he was talking all this smack like he's the best, but then he did pass the baton to keep it 100 to you and say, well, I think my boy in the linebacker room is the best dancer in the group. So, in the whole team, he said. So,
yeah, in the whole team.
Well, I got
why
it.
don't we start there?
I think
this
I got
real?
It. Go ahead, Phil.
You got the drum?
Yeah, I do.
I don't know if I'm the best dancer on. I'm definitely the best dancer in the room. That's for sure.
The linebacker.
He said it.
Yeah.
He said it definitely wasn't He said it definitely wasn't Roquan.
Not close. Roquan is absolutely at the bottom of the list. But no, all Roquan knows how to do is play football. And that's good. That's all we need him to do. That's all we need him to do.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Check this out, Josh. This was Adrian Amos talking about the linebackers and who was the best.
He informed us that he was the second best dancer on the linebacking core behind Josh Woods.
First of all, that's a lie. Iggy cannot dance. Iggy cannot dance. But he's not worse than Roquan. So, let me rate the linebackers first. The linebackers, it go Danny Trevathan. No, it go Josh Woods. Josh Woods number one, and then Danny Trevathan.
2.
And then I gotta think about who else in there. See, I never seen Quick dance, but I'll put him over Iggy because Iggy can dance. I'll put Quick over Iggy. Dennis Roquan the worst.
I heard Phil Mack can't dance. Is that true?
I don't know. He looked pretty bad on the when we were doing the Motown.
Yeah,
but
you're talking about all that bonus money that Matt got and Roquan got in the first round. That might be weighting them down a little bit. You think?
They do got some money.
That's great. So, Josh, you think that all that bonus money that Roquan got is maybe weighing him down?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
A little bit uneven.
I told him I could help him out. I'll take a little bit of it from him to lighten him up, but he's not really going for that one as much.
You got to run a Brinks truck, drive behind him with it.
Let me ask you this to start us off in football. Let me ask him this. You were a safety at Maryland and a defensive back, so what was the switch and the turnover like for you? And have you had linebacker experience before?
I never played linebacker before veterans minicamp, but I did play in the box as a safety a good amount my senior year. Darnell Savage, the safety that's actually about to come out of Maryland, was more so the post safety. But I think the difference between being safety in the box and then being, a Mike linebacker is being a safety, you're the uncounted man every time. Right. In terms of like the where the line slided to or whatever. So a lot of my plays that I was able to make was because they didn't account for me in the box. We rotate down late or whatever. It's just, the safety's always +1. The difference is when Cody Whitehair breaks the huddle at practice and he calls out 55's the mic. So I know for a fact that somebody is coming to me. That's one of the biggest differences. And then the other thing is, being at safety, being back 12, 13, 14 yards, you get to see everything. Everything unfolds in front of you. And at linebacker, run plays, they're on you that much quicker. And then pass plays, everything's happening behind you. Right. So, it's more awareness, I feel like, rather than, just being at safety, you can kind of let things play out an extra second, an extra half a second, an extra second or two before you execute whatever, or recognize a certain concept or whatnot. At linebacker, it's on you quick. And if you're not there, it could be a big play.
Josh, take us back to after the playoff game, and you have your exit meetings, and you go in and you meet up with Coach Nagy, or I don't know if Ryan Pace was there too. What did they give you anything specific that they want to see you work on, or what are you working on this off season?
They started the meeting off. I met with both individual, not like in separate meetings. They weren't at the same table, but I mean, both Coach Nagy and Pace were just telling me about how they were grateful for the effort and the development and the dedication that I put into the team this year, being on practice squad, even though it wasn't a given. I mean, like the desired position or role on the team. And, they were very excited about the potential, the upcoming season. They wanted to see how big of a jump that I really can make because, they say the biggest, the way you can tell how good a player is going to be is that jump between that first and second year. And, Pace was just telling me how encouraged he was because, nobody in the organization knows my ceiling. They have no idea how because I'm showing such great promise and it's kind of early. I don't know everything about linebacker. I don't, know everything about the NFL in general. But, I mean, he feels as though that they got a steal, in free agency last year. And I'm completely just blown away by how much they've invested in me. And in turn, I just repay that with just hard work and doing what everybody asks of me. And it's not one thing that they told me like, okay, we think you need to get better here. It's just, that we like you, that we want you to be a Bear for a while. But essentially like your future is up to, you're in control of your own destiny here. we're putting everything in front of you. It's up to you to take advantage of it.
Josh, what is going to be your optimum playing weight come camp or come the regular season?
Well, I'm 240. By the end of the season, I got up to 240, and I still felt like I was running. Yeah, I was running fast. I still felt like I was able to cover guys. Yeah.
Keep it 100, Josh. Keep it 100. 240.
You can fact check that with any of the linebackers in the room.
Nice. I'm checking it with you. That's impressive, man.
Yeah, it is.
Very impressive.
That's impressive.
And honestly, I don't even want to be this heavy. I actually want to be. That's why guys in the linebacker room. I'm not sure if Iggy touched on this, but my nickname's Fat Josh. On the
No, he did.
given to by Roquan. That I don't know if you guys follow him on any social media or whatever, but he loves to invite me places to eat just to record me. And it's kind of backwards because I'm like, well, I mean, shoot, he's paying. Why not go? But then I know for a fact, like, as soon as the food gets there, I completely forget about what's going on outside. And then next thing I know, the flash comes on as I'm taking my first bite. And then I just got to deal with it. But, it's cool because I did need to gain the weight. I feel like it's helped me. I've gotten just stronger naturally from getting bigger because I played at about 208 max my senior year. And by veterans minicamp, I was about 225, 228 range. Mm-hmm. And just throughout the season, I was continuing like my weight building program and eating a ton. And so now I'm about 240, but I want to drop down to maybe about 235 in that range. But I still feel fast. I still feel like I look good on the field. And so my goal weight is 235. Yeah. So my goal weight for camp is going to be about 235.
Well, take us back, for example. I know Shayne was very high on you for the draft. Take us back to that draft day and then after the draft. Now, I could be wrong, and I dropped the ball here. I have twin boys, and I've been hustling around to help my wife get them to bed, and crazy week with my son losing his glasses. Not that you care, but it was crazy at my house. And I'm trying to remember, and you tell me now so I can ask the question appropriately. You were undrafted, but were trying out at Veterans Minicamp, right? As a tryout player, and then made the team?
Yeah.
That's right?
Yeah, so, I actually tried out at rookie minicamp.
There you go.
Initially at safety. Rookie minicamp initially at safety. Mm-hmm. And I felt like I had a really good camp, and the former DB coach Ed Donato, he kept walking up to me. He was like, "Hey, you're doing really great, but you look big. Like, how much do you weigh? Like, how much do you weigh, kid?" Like, he kept saying it, and I for whatever reason, I just kept hearing like, you might be that money backer while I was training for pro day and everything. So I was gaining weight, trying to see how big I could be and still be comfortable. So by the time rookie minicamp came around, I was about 217, 220. And so after the second day of rookie minicamp, they asked me to step on the scale because I thought I was like, yeah, I'm probably about 215. I got on the scale post-practice. So after 2 hours of running around, I was 218. Oh. And that's when they said on the third day of rookie minicamp, how about you hop in the box? And I mean, I was horrible. I really wasn't. Mm-hmm. It was completely new. My world.
Tell them what. Tell listeners what hop in the box is. I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
Tell them.
So I went from a safety, and in a matter of 3 hours, I was a Mike linebacker.
So we call that the hot box.
And in the NFL, where I'm trying out for an NFL team, my only shot on the last day of tryouts.
Wow.
They just threw me in there at Mike linebacker. And after rookie minicamp, Coach Nagy kind of brought everybody up. He said, well, I wish we could keep you all because, you know, everybody's effort was great. Everybody played well. But unfortunately, we can't. You put it all on tape, so, you know, other coaches will see this, and our scouts will keep you guys in mind. But if nobody pulls you off to the side, thank you. And so guys are walking over to the locker room, you know, walking slow as I don't know what, trying to just maximize that time to get pulled off to the side by somebody. I mean, I probably took the longest shower ever. I probably ate the slowest lunch ever, and nobody pulled me to the side. I mean, really? I was dragging my feet to the bus. There were two buses. One was going back to the hotel, and one was going to the airport. And honestly, I got on that bus, and I went all the way to the back, and I just kind of laid down across the back seat, and I just cried, and called my mom and told her like I was just sorry because, you know, I know my family, like, their happiness is kind of contingent upon mine, because my mom doesn't want anything. My mom doesn't want anything from me. Like, obviously, I wanted to make it to help my parents out, but I know my mom was just going to be crushed because she knows that this was my dream. So by the time I called her and I just apologized, I'm like, I'm sorry, like I couldn't do it. I gave my all. And by the time I got to the airport, my agent called me and said, you know what, kid, in 16 years of, you know, doing this, I've never gotten a call back from a kid who didn't get a contract on rookie minicamp. And I'm like, what do you mean? He said, they called me back and said they're going to invite you in a couple weeks to try out linebacker. They want you to try to gain some weight, maybe learn some things about linebacker, but whatever you did on that third day, like, they saw something in you.
On the third day, he rose again.
There you go.
And,
that's the truth.
Yeah. And so 4 weeks later, I went to Veterans Minicamp, and I literally, as everybody was there who maybe all the rookies were familiar with the playbook at that point, I'm sitting in a room with one of the assistant coaches, Coach Bill Shuey, and he's trying to give me the entire playbook in the hour-and-a-half meeting before the first practice. Wow. And my head was still spinning. I'm out there. Now I'm out there, you know, I'm not out there with other guys trying out. I'm out there with Danny Trevathan and Mitchell Trubisky under center. Right. You know, like I'm there now. Like I'm with the Bears at this point, and the pressure was unreal. But at the same time, I was like, I'm here for a reason. They called me back for a reason. So I let all the stress go. Just went out there. I think the first day I maybe got 3 plays, and the second day I maybe got 5 plays out of the whole 2 hours. But by the end of it, the same thing kind of happened. They broke down, and there were, I think, maybe 12 to 14 tryouts this time. And I mean, it's the same thing. I'm dragging my cleats. I'm like, hey, like, somebody pull me to the side. I can't do this again. And sure enough, before I went down to the basement locker room, where we call it the dungeon, somebody pulled me off to the side, and they let me know that they were going to sign me at linebacker.
Wow, what a story! That is awesome.
Ultimate against the odds. I mean, I'm already writing the Josh Wood song as he's talking, Aldo, when he comes back.
You'll have the sequel to the original song. Hey, I want to ask Josh.
I don't know if we're going to call it Fat Josh.
No, don't do that.
I think I'm going to stay away from that.
Hey,
I appreciate that. I really do.
Hey, Josh, you had some pretty fat stats when you were in high school over at McDonough High. I see here that you had 35 receptions, 800 yards, 10 touchdown catches as a receiver, and then as a defensive back, you had 4 interceptions, 35 tackles. That all, I believe, if I'm reading this correctly, that was all in your senior year over at Owings Mills. Is that correct?
That's correct. And those defensive stats come in only 3 games, by the way. I don't mean to toot my own horn, but I would like to let that be known.
Well, I can tell our followers that they can go over to huddle.com. That's HUDL.com. They've got a highlight reel there of Josh at high school, and it's very impressive, man. The very first highlight is you catching a pass and breaking away for a tackler for a touchdown, and then the very next one is you executing an interception on a pass play down the middle. Very, very nice stuff, bro.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Hey, Josh, we've had a bunch of players on with us over the last few months and year, and some of the recent guys that we've had on, we've asked them all the same question: is where were you and what were you doing when you heard that Khalil Mack was going to be a Chicago Bear?
So I had just woken up, and some of my frat brothers from back home, they like, we have a group chat and what's called Group Me, and I mean, it's blowing up. Like, that's what woke me up. Ding, 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 ding. And I'm like, so before I could even like open it to read it, then one of my frat brothers is FaceTiming me, and I mean, it is 8 o'clock in the morning, and he's a football fanatic. Like, he's probably one of my biggest fans. He literally just calls me to ask, like, hey, so how'd you do this week in practice? Like, and he's like, yo, you guys got Khalil Mack. I'm like, no. I'm like wiping the coal out of my eyes. I'm like, no, shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. He was like, no, seriously, go look. I pulled it up. I was like, oh shit, we got Khalil Mack. And one of the coaches that was there my senior year, quality control coaches that was there at Maryland my senior year, is actually teammates with Khalil, college teammates with Khalil. And so I got off the phone with that Justin, and then another Justin called me, and it was Khalil's teammate. He was like, yo, when Khalil gets there, tell him I said what's up. Like, it's going to be crazy. Like, you two are going to be teammates, like, whatever. So my phone was going crazy, and it was funny because I felt like I should have known before everybody that wasn't in Chicago. But all my friends knew way before me. I was like, what am I doing wrong here? It was big. That was one of the moves. That was just a move right there that we were like, okay, the front office, like, pace there. We're in a win now organization. Like, it was already a mood or a vibe that you could just get from the locker room that everybody was there. It meant business, wanted to win. But that was just like, okay, so it's not just the players. Everybody's on it, you know?
If you're not excited about Josh Woods, just listening to this guy, bring it. The passion I can hear in your voice, it stands to speak that you're probably the best dancer on the team, because I could hear your energy here. But I got a question football-wise in regards to getting yourself prepared every day to be a practice squad player. How hard is that for you? Not only that, but you're constantly under the microscope because, God forbid, you don't give 110%. Coaches are going to see that, but you're also learning a new position at the same time on the highest of levels. You're the ultimate wild card, so to speak, in what you have had to overcome. Your pause robot dancing, leaving the practice field to get a shot. Just the imagery of it, I totally get it, and it's just amazing. But what does Josh Woods wake up thinking every day?
Well, earlier in the season, it was kind of tough because in so many ways I was like, all right, I'm better than this guy here, or I understand that I'm not the best linebacker on the roster right now, but I can help us here, or whatever. Like, I felt like I was really good on special teams, and it was kind of hard because in a lot of ways I felt like you were going so hard and like it wasn't really doing anything for you, right? In terms of like advancing your own career. But then I just had to kind of think about it. I saw like a couple guys get cut, like my friends or whatnot had gotten cut, and I'm just like, wow, I really get to wake up and play the same game. Like the first memory I have of, you know, being outside playing with my friends is football, you know?
Right.
I'm like, I get to play that same game. You know, I'm making great money. You know, it's not the best. I'm making great money, fresh out of college, doing something that I love every single day. And once I kind of like was able to put my own ego aside and realize that like we got something great going here, it became a lot easier to wake up and go to practice. Another thing is I treated every practice because I didn't get to suit up on Sundays.
Right.
So when we put shoulder pads on Wednesday practice, that was my game day. I'm going 150 miles per hour. I'm picking Mitch off. I'm getting yelled at by the coaches. I'm, you know.
Yes.
But I don't give two shits because you brought me here to practice and get these guys better, play my absolute hardest, and I'm a competitor. Just because I'm on practice squad doesn't mean I haven't been a competitor for the past 22 years of my life. Nice. So I literally brought it every single day. And I mean, I'm running Tariq down 20 yards. Like in a real game, he probably would have been gone, and he's now started to kind of trot. But I'm gonna go tag off to let them know that like I'm taking this serious.
Yes.
I'm taking this seriously, and I'm just like I said, they've invested so much in me. So that's the only way I can think to pay it back.
That is awesome, man. Let me tell you something. If the Bears, and all three of us here really thought that if the Bears got past the Eagles, they were going to go all the way and win the Super Bowl. And guys like you who spent the season on the practice squad, we have a special appreciation for what you have done to get the Bears in that position to be a playoff contender, to be a Super Bowl contender. And for that, we offer you a million thanks. Yes, you're not on the highlight reel on Sunday night after the game and so forth, but we know what's going on, especially now that you've kind of even clued us in more on what happens during practice week. We know what you guys do to make the other guys better. And I don't understand why any coach would want to yell at you for going 150% like you said. That's going to make Mitch Trubisky a better player. That's going to make the offensive line better at what they do, and on and on and on. I just, as a fan, and I know Shayne and Phil feel this way, we appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And they weren't yelling at me because they didn't want me to go 110. In a lot of ways, it's frustration because it's like, okay, this is our QB1, and that's a practice squad linebacker. Why is he picking? You know what I mean? Like, it's just frustration because they're just as competitive as we are.
Gotcha.
You know, they're just as prideful as we are. Like, we weren't able to fool this guy. Like, what are you talking about?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And to your point, as a coach, to Aldo's point too, I would make yelling at you just to get my point across and pull you to the side, like, hey, you're doing great. I just want
that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. So I can't remember exactly which game week it was, but I had gotten into it with one of the guys on the offensive line because when I'm at practice, you know it. When I make a play, you know it. I'm celebrating. I'm talking trash. Like, you know, everybody knows when I'm on the field. And so one of the linemen had said something because I guess I just got under his skin. He was like, Josh, like he just basically told me to shut up. But it really, like the way he said it, really got under my skin. Like, it's water under the bridge at this point, like whatever. But like I said, we're all grown men. Like, he tested me. So the next day I went to practice and I tried to purposefully embarrass all 11 starters. I scored a touchdown. I was not there for games that day. Like, that was my game day. And, you know, I got cussed out probably 5 different times in that 2-hour practice. And they're yelling. They're like, just do what's on the card, like whatever. And I'm out here making plays. I'm like, look, I'm trying to get y'all better. And, I'm cussing back at him. Like, it's a straight pissing match. And I look over at Ryan Pace, and he's just laughing. He's just laughing. He has his, like, you know, Coach Helfrich actually pulls me up that Sunday, and he apologizes, and he puts things in perspective for me. And he was like, look, I want you to understand that we want you. We appreciate every single thing that you do. Like plays that you make, sometimes we throw them out. But you got to understand that sometimes we want you to do exactly what's on the card, even if it doesn't seem realistic to you, because maybe that guy plays that way. Mm-hmm. And we only get one shot during practice to practice a certain play against a certain look sometimes, because they're trying to fit so many different scenarios into 3 days of practice essentially. And he put things in perspective, and he thanked me and he told me to keep going. But he kind of he put things in perspective from a coach, and I kind of didn't understand that until that point. I'm like, okay, well, I'm here to make as many plays as I can, even though I'm on practice squad. Well, no, like sometimes they do need a look, Exactly. And so I had to find that balance, and again put my ego to the side, because the team's ultimate goal is to win. I want to win. They want to win. Everybody wants to win. And there's no room for egos at that point.
Josh, we you heard Aldo say that we all really felt like if you guys got past Philly, you were going to win the whole thing. We brought that up with Adrian. He agreed. Coach Nagy said during the exit interviews, almost to a man, everybody brought up pretty much that same sentiment that they coach can't believe we let this one get away from us. We were, we blew it. We were going to win the Super Bowl this year. Now, is that something that you guys, we've talked here at the bar room that we want you guys to print up T-shirts that just say, #finish on it, because that's really your next step. Finish. Go kick that fucking door in. Is that something that you guys are reticent of when you're talking away from Hallis Hall, that next year's our year. This is the we're gonna kick that fucking door down, and we're gonna finish. Is that something you guys are talking about?
Oh, for sure. The first thing Coach Nagy said in the team meeting was, we got to work harder this year, or like this offseason, this upcoming year, than we did last year, because it's going to be harder to get to that 12-4 this season, because we're not going to take teams by surprise like we did. We're not, exactly. There's going to be, like we posted it today, like we've now become the hunted. Exactly. It's no longer taking somebody by surprise. So, and we had that taste of it, guys. We had so many guys in the Pro Bowl, and I've heard them say like, "Yo, like I got to get back to that." And like everybody, like we've had a taste of what winning really feels like, And I've been blessed to not have a losing season in the NFL. But the cat's out the bag. I went to Maryland. I don't think we won 30 games, in 4 years. I've been a part of losing organizations, or a losing. I don't want to say a losing organization, but teams that haven't done as well, because Maryland's about to skyrocket. Mark my words. I'll take any bets on that. By the way.
Oh, look at you, the alma mater.
Yeah, but seriously, guys have. I'm watching all of my guys on their social media. Everybody's working out super hard. And conversations are just like, bro, like, damn, like we really could have torched anybody on the way to the Lombardi Trophy, seriously. And we know that, and the thing about it is we're so confident that we can get back, because we're only going to get better. We got that year under our belt, like, okay, we'll take that one, but it's not going to happen again.
Now, can you whisper that into Nagy's ear, the #finish? Say your boys at Bears Barroom. We don't want any credit.
I can definitely try.
Okay, as long as you try. As long as you try. Now let me ask you,
Phil, real quick. Just let me butt in here before we move off of the playoffs. I'm not going to ask you about Cody Parkey. That's been totally played out. But do you have any angst over the field goal kicker that you just signed today? His name is Blewit.
Chris Blewit.
Chris Blewit. Now, do you feel comfortable having a field goal kicker with a last name like that, Josh?
Look, you can't choose your name.
Oh, I do.
Can't choose your name. So in that regard, I can't fault him. I just want someone who's going to make kicks. I just want somebody who's going to hold up their end of the bargain. That's all anybody can ask for.
There you go.
Keep it 100. I love this, dude.
And somebody that's not going to go on Good Morning America. Right?
The day show. Most valuable.
Whatever.
Most honorable player. Most honorable player.
Hey, can we ask our man here about some of the Maryland prospects who are coming out for the 2019 draft, starting with Darnell Savage?
I'd love to talk about Darnell Savage.
All right, go for it.
There we go.
Darnell's probably one of my closest friends in my time at Maryland. I still remember Darnell's official visit, like it was yesterday. He's probably one of the smartest football players I've ever played with. He's probably one of the most just gifted players athletically that I've played with. And it's been great to watch him grow mentally as well, because that's where I felt like he had a shortcoming early on in his career. I mean, but we all at 18, none of us are perfect, you know.
Right.
And like the physical aspect, he had it, like whatever. But mentally, there were times where I felt like he doubted himself. And just watching him bud into such a great football player at this point, such a great leader. And obviously I wasn't there this past season, but I was checking in on him, seeing, okay, how's this going? Or how are you handling this situation? What are you doing if this comes up? Because I was that guy my senior year. And he and I were a great safety tandem, in my opinion. And so I just wanted him to kind of carry that on. But, I mean, he's legit one of the smartest players I've ever played with.
I was down at the Senior Bowl and got to see him practice a little bit. It looks like he can play the slot pretty good too, huh?
Well, he came to Maryland as a corner. Okay. And he came to Maryland as a corner, outside corner. And at this time, I mean, I don't know if you guys know, we had Sean Davis on one side, who's the safety for the Steelers, who was originally a safety, but he wanted to play some corner with his senior year, which is perfectly fine. We had Will Likely on the other side, two-time All-American. That's another guy that I just love. But those guys on the outside at one point. So Darnell kind of had to get in where he fit in. So he's playing outside, and then, they needed him at nickel a little bit. And then eventually, once Coach Durkin got there, we had a void at the opposite safety position. And so they told Darnell they wanted him to move back there. And because of his football IQ, he was just able to move. He's just able to move between any of the 5 spots seamlessly.
Nice.
Would be nice if you were a teammate for this upcoming season, but we'll see how that plays out. Who else on this Maryland team? Who else on this Maryland team do you think has an NFL future?
Well, I never got to play with him, but just watching the kid play, talking to him, seeing picking his brain a little bit. It's a linebacker by the name of Trey Watson. And that kid can flat out play. It's like I almost thought he was invisible out there with how many picks he had as a middle linebacker. And I mean, he brings the boom, and he's from what I've been told, he's a very good leader. I like his game a lot. Damian Prince is, I think, an underrated offensive lineman. Derwin Gray, he's a monster. I mean, Rayvon Davis, he's small, but he has a heart bigger than any player I've ever seen, I've ever played with. Like, he just has a fire about him that's just undeniable. Like, I literally, I can't get the image out of my head. He's 5, Rayvon's probably 5'10" and some change. Playing outside corner against this guy at Michigan State, who's, I can't remember which receiver it was, but he's easily 6'2", 6'3". Rayvon makes the play. The dude starts talking smack. Rayvon reaches up and mushes him in the face. I can't get it out. I'm like, because that's who he is. And I've talked to some of the guys upstairs about it, and they're like, yeah, that kid just plays with so much fire, so much passion. But he's been a walk-on everywhere he's gone. You know, he's had to earn his stripes everywhere he's gone. So that's just a part of him. He just plays with such a huge chip on his shoulder. I mean, it's a lot of good guys coming out of Maryland. I just wish they won more games because obviously teams want guys from winning organizations. It's no secret about that.
Right.
The internet's definitely helped with getting guys out there, you know, more, even on smaller schools or, you know, organizations that don't win as much or haven't won as much. But I mean, it's a good class coming out of Maryland this year. Seriously.
Well, you talked about leaders, and one of our leaders is a free agent. And you played with this kid. I mean, he spoke about you being from the same area in Baltimore growing up. Mm-hmm. He spoke about you and the talent that you have and what have you. And what are your thoughts on Adrian Amos and your gut feeling? Is he going to be back with the Bears? Because everyone here, especially me, and Aldo are very vocal. Shayne sometimes falls off the leg. I don't know where he goes. But we're Adrian Amos over everybody in our books. So where are you at in regards to him as a leader, as a player, and you guys grew up in the same neighborhoods?
I think Adrian's a fantastic player. He's very, very dynamic in terms of what he can do, because I feel like he can change his best ability based on, you know, the flow of the game or who's in and who's out, which is a very valuable asset, you know, in the game of football, because you never know what's going to happen. In terms of, you know, leadership, he's one of those guys where he's going to speak up if he has an issue. And fortunately, there weren't many issues in that locker room, you know, which I think is the reason why we did do so well this past season. But, you know, just hearing the DBs as a whole communicate, I mean, I think that whole group, that whole room was just so smart, so accountable, so reliable, and, you know, just so communicative with, you know, the game plan and the way they just talked to each other. It was just the camaraderie was just there. It was like being on, you know, even like the walkthrough offense. I was always the running back next to Vic, and I'm hearing him call out these plays, and then I'm hearing, you know, just the communication between. Obviously, I'm listening for what Danny and Roquan are talking about, but my brain was still, especially early on in the season, my brain was still wired as a safety. So I'm hearing Vic say these calls. And I'm matching them up with what the safety has to do, and then I translate it to what Roquan and Danny are doing. Like, it's a whole process in my brain at this point. So I'm listening to them, and like whatever their little code words were for what they have to do, and they're like, no, it's because it's walkthrough. So they're like, no, remember you got this or whatever. And Adrian, he was a big part of that, a huge part of that.
How important is that to cohesive?
Eddie, especially, well, you know, football is the ultimate team sport. You know, offense, Andy, I was about to say more so on defense than offense, but that's not true at all. Like, it's just the ultimate team sport. If somebody, like, I look at defense as a puzzle. You know, if you think about it, defense is nothing but a puzzle. And if there's a piece missing, you know, and it's just not complete. So if you have somebody who's able to get everybody on that same page, then that's you can't really replace that.
Josh, you brought up Vic, and we know that he's out in Denver now. You have a new guy there in Coach Pagano. There's talk that he's a little bit more aggressive, may blitz a little bit more. How do you feel about rushing the passer? Is that something that you have been working on and that you think you'll be comfortable with?
Yeah, I'm good with that. I'm good with that. Yeah, so I've had a couple conversations with Coach DeLeon, that is not. and Coach Pagano, and they've just been talking about how they want to keep some things the same, but there are some things that they do want to change. I've been working on some pass rush moves because I've been working out with the guy that I've been working out with this offseason is actually one of the practice squad D linemen, Abdullah Anderson.
Yeah.
And because he needs help on his hand stuff. So I've in turn been learning. Every time he needs a break, I'm like, all right, well, now you help me, you show me. And so I'm working on, hand stuff because I'm, just naturally just faster than linemen. Like it's a given. And I showed in camp that I know how to work the backs. So I'm excited. I'm just waiting for an opportunity. Like when they used to send me on blitzes in practice, Bobby would, if I lined up on the line, Bobby would just roll his eyes like, oh, here we go. and it got to the point where Leno would literally like even in no pads, Leno would punch the shit out of me. Like, look, Josh, like his hand strike. He was literally like, look, I'm not playing with your ass today. Like, come on. Like, you know what I mean? Because right, exactly. Because, their coach, like my coach, Coach Pyers, like or I guess former coach Pyers was like really laid back, really chill. So I kind of didn't know what it was like to have a coach that yelled a lot, but they got yelled at apparently in their meeting room, so they weren't having it sometimes. But I loved when they called blitzes. I am looking forward to blitzing with Coach Pagano, seriously.
Now, let me ask you this. Number 58 comes in late in the whole 9. Then he gets his feet wet, and as the season progressed, I do a lot of film study and do this thing for Bears Barroom called The Tape Never Lies. And I just was blown away by this kid's ability to just have a feel. So when you're around someone, whether he's treating you out to IHOP or the Waffle House, wherever the heck he's bringing you to eat with Fat Josh, what kind of football player is he in your mind? I think players are the most, almost better than scouts sometimes because they see the whole 9 of everything. So talk a little bit about Roquan Smith.
I think Roquan's a future Hall of Famer. And I mean that wholeheartedly. The kid's just gifted. There are people in life who, like everything they do or everything they touch just turns to gold. Like Roquan's one of those people when it comes to football. I don't say this to talk down on him at all. Like in comparison to, let's say, Iggy, when Roquan, Iggy, and I were there for the beginning of the season, like Iggy was just in his book, like trying to learn it. Roquan would kind of look it over, say, all right, coach, close it up, and go do exactly what they just talked about. You know what I mean? It was just, it's one of those things. And I know for a fact he goes home and he studies because Roquan showed me how to break down film.
Right.
But the kid is literally just gifted. Like I almost want to tell you, it's not even anything that you or I have can put, okay, that's because of this. We can't attest that to I joke with him about it all the time because he can't dance. He doesn't really do much. Like, I'm like, yo, like you were literally born to play football. Like if you just look at his build, I'm like, bro, you were born just to play football.
That's gotta be his song.
He doesn't play video games. He doesn't
No?
Roquan, I'm like, no.
Yeah.
He calls me, makes fun. Look, he'll FaceTime me. Heavy hitter. What you on? And I talk to him, and he's like, all right, well, I'm on my way over. He comes, he turns on some weird murder mystery documentary, and we just eat, of course. That's a given. Well, if you come and bring some food, that's for sure. That's what I tell him. If you come and bring some food,
get those free meals in.
No, what? Yeah, I know what you signed for.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah, he better not be taking you to IHOP. It better be Chicago cut, right? Right,
Yeah,
Josh?
there you go.
Went there too. I'm not picky now. I'm not picky.
What's wrong with IHOP, Shane? Unlimited pancakes.
Oh, I hear you, but we're talking about Roquan's bonus money. I gotta take the Chicago Cup or something.
Gibson's, Aldo.
No, but I think another thing that sets Roquan apart is he's so humble.
Yeah.
He's willing to listen to anybody. Like even me, I'm on the sidelines of games, and throughout the whole game plan, Coach Pyers will give me two things to really focus on, right? Mm-hmm. So what we did was in meetings, we didn't watch film until the last 30 minutes of our meeting time. We would be on the board okay, we're going to write down, Josh, you're giving these tendencies. What do they do on third downs? What do they do in 2 minutes? And everybody's, they have their own thing. And so whatever was my given thing that week, that's what I'm watching for in the game. So you know how we have the little Microsoft Surface Pros on the sideline? Coach Pyers, would sit Roquan and Danny down and show them some things, and then he would hand it to me and walk off. And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, okay, bro, this is what we were talking about. Remember how we said if the back is split out behind the tackle and he's getting out fast? Yeah, you missed it. The quarterback missed it, but look, you got it. You know what I'm saying? He's like, okay, nice. And he goes out there and they try to exploit it because they think that we didn't cover it, and he boom, tackle for loss. You know what I mean? He's willing to listen to anybody.
That's brilliant on the coach's part too, to have you involved.
Oh, for sure.
Because now he's helping you be a coach, a leader, but also making sure you learn it too. So you're getting three phases there, and that's a tough loss.
I will forever be grateful for Coach Pyers and the attention to detail that he gave me as a practice squad player. He has 5 guys in his room, 4 of which, were suiting up, and he gave me that same amount of attention, that same amount of help, and I really didn't feel any different. And I mean, that was throughout the whole organization. I didn't feel I'm just a practice squad player, but I really I'm grateful for Coach Pyers for everything that he did for me.
Josh, one of the guys on the roster that I think is criminally underrated, even on a national level, that just never gets talked about how good he is. And with you being a linebacker now, I know you will especially appreciate this guy. How good is Eddie Goldman?
Eddie's really good. Eddie, you want to know why Roquan and Danny make plays?
Yep.
because Eddie is anchoring down those A guys. Seriously, he deserves all of the credit that he gets and then some. That contract extension they just gave him, perfect, good. Keep him here because when I get my shot, I'm gonna need him too. He literally just doesn't move.
Yeah,
he doesn't move. It doesn't. I've literally seen them try to put 3 people on Eddie at one point, and he's just like, "Nah, y'all gonna have to run somewhere else. I'm good. I'll chill right here." And the other thing that I love about Eddie so much is how quiet he is. I don't know if anybody's ever told you about that, but Eddie doesn't talk.
No, we tried to get him on the show, and it's been crickets.
I don't think it's gonna happen. I'm sorry, guys. It's not gonna happen.
Can you send him? If I make a song about him, can you give it to him and tell him? So he can listen
look, I'll send it to him.
Okay,
I'll send it to him. That's for sure.
He's criminally underrated and unappreciated. This is a Pro Bowl nose guard in our book that got overlooked. To your point. On tape, Aldo can attest, I'm supposed to do this tape on something else. I forget what it was that week, but every goddamn play I'm looking at Eddie Goldman take over the whole Vikings offensive line. And he's just dominating. I'm like, here's another play by Goldman. And you could see it's titled I forget what it was, about the defense or Leonard Floyd. I forget what it was about. And then I just couldn't stop showing Eddie Goldman. It's just unbelievable what he does, to your point, and criminally underrated and underappreciated around the league, but not here at Bears Barroom. He is Shayne and Aldo, one of our favorite players. And the fact that he's so quiet doesn't help him. But I got a question about being quiet. Khalil Mack, I want to know that, Josh, you seem to be keeping it 100. This guy on tape is getting held criminally. Like every goddamn play. I'm at the Green Bay game, and I am MFing the refs, the whole section. Like, throw the fucking flag. What are we looking at? Is he not a complainer to the refs? Is he too quiet? Are the coaches not saying, hey?
It's not about how quiet he is. He just knows the level of respect that he's acquired around the league, and it comes with it. You know, like, he just knows. It's no sense in complaining about it, because if the refs were going to call it, they would have called it. Like, I'm not like, just that's just the type of person he is. He's just, all right, okay, I see what kind of game we're playing here today. Well, I'm still going to find a way to get to the quarterback. You know?
It gets us upset. I wrote a song about that, to be honest, because it got us so upset. I made a hashtag.
How many songs do you have over there? How many songs do you have over there?
Tons.
We have a lot of songs, man. I keep it 100 with you, and I'm proud of them.
I play some for you, Josh, but I want to keep it around another 10 minutes.
We have a library of songs.
Hey, Phil did a whole Christmas album, like 24 different songs on players. And back then, we were not real happy with the coaching staff, and we had a Fire Fox song and stuff.
Oh man!
Phil is very talented. We're not even. Don't even ask him about his musical background, because then the next 30 minutes you'll be talking about who he opened for, when he how old he was.
Opened for Tribe Called Quest. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah, he opened for a Tribe Called Quest. Let's just leave it at that. Hey, Josh, we've had you now for over an hour, and we always ask our guests if they could do at least one thing for us, which is what we call a station ID. And so we'd love for you to say, because right now we already know that you've got a future in broadcasting. Dude, I've been in this business since 1977, making a buck out of doing TV and radio. And when I listen to a professional athlete talk, I can immediately tell if this guy's got a future in broadcasting. And you, if you want it, it's going to be there for you. You and Dancing with the Stars, I'm sure.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So
we're going to have you here.
We'd love.
That's actually what I want to do after playing, but we'll play first.
Well, you have a job here waiting for you.
Yeah, we can't pay you anything.
Thank you. I appreciate
in
that.
10 years.
In 10 years, after you've won a couple of Super Bowl rings, at least.
Exactly.
But if you could, if you don't mind doing a station ID for us, which would be just introducing yourself and say you're listening to Bears Barroom Radio, and then if you want to ad-lib anything like these fuckers are crazy or anything like that, please feel free to. So whenever you're ready, we'll do a countdown, and then whenever you're ready, just go at it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, anytime.
What's up, Bears fans? It's Josh Woods, linebacker for the Chicago Bears, and you're listening to Bears Barroom with these crazy guys. Hold on tight, but you're going to get a good show.
I love it.
There you go. One take.
Oh, man, you got to give Akeem Hicks some shit because it took him 3 takes.
Yeah.
We had to text him a script. One take, Josh Woods. Josh, real quick before you go. I'm sorry, Aldo. I had a question. How does Ryan Pace handle final cuts? Does he call you up? We all see Hard Knocks, and I've had so many barflies reach out to me and be like, can you ask one of the players you have on how they handle final cuts? I want to know what Ryan Pace does, because he's so, he looks like he's a captain of a sailing ship, for God's sake, the way he was, you know what I'm saying? So how does he handle the final cuts? Does he bring you up? And then part B to that, with you, did he say, listen, we want you back on the practice squad? But go ahead.
Okay, so I'll answer part A first. So they did, I'm not sure how every team does it, but on Friday, or I can't remember if it was a Thursday or a Friday, but essentially it was like 2 waves of cuts. And my roommate in the hotel got just a phone call saying, hey, can you be on the bus? The bus is leaving from the hotel at whatever time, bring your iPad. And him and however many guys that they were cutting out offering the practice squad contract to the following day went over and came back and like had their meetings individually. But then, so I went to sleep that night without receiving a phone call or anything. I'm at breakfast with another one of the close friends that I made throughout camp. We're like, look, we're still hanging on. We don't know if that's the end, if that's all the final cuts or what. You know, just eating breakfast and both our phones ring about the same time. Mm-hmm. And, you know, they tell us, hey, come on over to the facility, bring your iPad, bring everything, be here by 12 o'clock or something like that. And they called us up one by one by one. And like just, we were sitting in the cafeteria just watching guys go up, and for whatever reason, they weren't coming to grab me. I'm like, what the heck? What's going on? Like, get this shit over with. I'd rather know what's going on or not. Mm-hmm. But, you know, he pulled me in and he told me, at this point, my hand was still broken. And he told me, he was like, you know, I wowed them in 1.5 games. They really feel like I have a future here. You know, everything that they said in the exit meeting, essentially. And,
so
is
Pace and Nagy?
Yeah, it was just Pace. It was just Pace.
Okay.
And he told me, he was like, hey, so, you know, we want to offer you a practice squad contract, but we have to cut you in order to do that. If you clear waivers, then, you know, we're going to be extremely excited to offer you a practice squad contract. Just be here tomorrow at 12, such and such. And that's how it went down. It wasn't sad at all. He was like, hey, congratulations. Like, we want to keep you around on the practice squad. Nice. As a formality, we have to cut you, but hey, like, congrats. Like, we want to keep you around for a long time.
Wow, so that's really the inside look to it. Go ahead, Aldo. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say, did you dance your way out of there? Because that had to be a happy moment.
Oh, yeah. What happened after that?
I did have a huge smile. Yeah. Well, I went home. I called my agent, let him know. I'm like, look, practice squad, we made it, baby. Look, it's not about how you get into the league. It's about how you leave. So. Yep. I wasn't going home. It was another thing to celebrate, you know, because coming from undrafted tryout kid, like, hey, my story is just starting, you know. So, called my mom. She's crying, and it was a really good feeling, honestly. Nothing could take the smile off my face that day.
Hey, before we let you go, I'd love to play a drop from you from a previous show. I think this is Joel Iyiegbuniwe talking about you, and we were asking him about players who could potentially break out in 2019, guys that have a future with the team. And I believe this is Iggy and his thoughts about you.
I've been a Josh Woods fan even going back to college, just a guy that's, you know, kind of moved around safety and all that, moving up to linebacker. You speak on him. That's a guy that I've always had my eye on that could be, you know, a gem moving forward, you know, once he learns the position just a little bit more. He's got a ton of talent. Are you seeing the same things I am when you see Josh play?
Absolutely. No, he's motivated, and he's got a fire lit under him, and he's definitely working right now, and his future is bright, man. I could say that right now. He's going to do some things. So definitely keep an eye out on him too. I know I said Javon earlier as far as the jam, but Josh Woods, I put him right up there too. He's definitely gonna be on the scene sometime.
So Vic Fangio.
Pretty nice, huh, for Iggy to say those words. Now you got to say something nice about him. I know it's going to be hard, but
No. Iggy's my guy. We actually got really close being on practice squad together, because there was times where he needed to lean on me and I needed to lean on him, because both equally as frustrated. Sometimes just being on practice squad, you know. Mm-hmm. It's a mental game in itself, you know, keeping yourself psyched out of, you know, thinking about putting yourself before the team. And I mean, it's clips of us at practice just cutting up, dancing, and then right before Mitch gets under center, we snap into position. Like it's really like Iggy. That's my boy. I talk to Iggy a lot, a fair share.
Now Iggy has agreed to come back on Bears Barroom and play the Bears Barroom dating game.
Oh, so wow.
Yeah, because he said he's...
Are you single?
He said he's single and looking, so we got to find some ladies, and he wants to come back and play on the game show.
Hey, Josh, he said that all he wanted was girls with big booties.
I like big butts, and I cannot lie.
And so we're...
He did, too.
He did.
So, I'll tell y'all something, okay? Because I like following Instagram models, right? I follow a healthy amount of Instagram models, right?
Uh-huh.
And, you know, before I click the follow button, you know whose name is always followed by?
Talk about Iggy Abunawaya.
Iggy, it's like he trademarked Iggy was here. Like, I'm like, damn, well, we're the ones that you haven't found. Like, look, I know for a fact Iggy will come play that game.
All right, well, we're gonna hunt down some of those girls with the big booties and have them on. And if you want to come on, I'm sure Shayne was going to offer you an invite too. So if you want to come on too.
Oh well, you know, if you insist.
Yeah,
if you insist.
Yes, that's a yes.
Oh yes.
I will have your song ready by then too, so you'll have both.
Okay.
There you go.
Great.
Look, you have to send Shayne a couple of those Instagram models.
Yes,
He's married, and so am I. But it's just business.
Yeah, just
so
business.
Shayne
of course, it's just business.
We just want to make sure they're football fans.
We want to make sure they come to the show.
Well, you know, one of my old coaches told me that marriage is kind of like a diet. You can look. You just can't eat, you know?
Oh, shit. I wish he would have told me that.
Are we still keeping it 100 on here?
Yeah, that's right. Oh, yeah.
Always.
Okay, now I don't want to get anybody in trouble now.
Oh, no.
I'm already in trouble. All right. Hey, Josh, you've been a blast.
Josh.
We are so excited about your future with the Chicago Bears. And it's not only because we want to see you excel and get your Super Bowl rings with the Bears, but also because of the type of person you are. We're looking forward to seeing you on more interviews on TV and radio. We'd love to have you more often here at Bears Barroom Radio. You're just a sweetheart and a great guy, and we're going to invite you to that dating game where we're going to bug you, and if we're ever bugging you too much, you just let us know because, again, we just think you're a hell of a guy, and thank you very much for over an hour of your time. It's been really cool, man.
I really appreciate it. You guys were a blast. Thank you. You know, it's an honor to even be on the show. So thank you guys. I'm really appreciative.
Thank you, brother.
Well, we blew you up on Twitter. I've just followed you. Shayne, you just the best of luck, man. If you're, keeping it 100 from what we've heard from guys that are your teammates down to your journey, there's a millionth of a chance for you to make it, and you do. I think you really need to step back and appreciate yourself. But the journey's not over. But to barflies that are listening, there's something special about Josh Woods. Definitely, totally agree with you, Aldo.
Hey, Josh, one other thing. If you ever need a song to woo a woman over, you just call Draft Dr. Phil because he does love songs too.
Oh, okay. All right. I will keep that in mind.
Yeah. There you go.
Look, I'll save that for after the dating game. How about that?
This is real quick. Iggy says if the girl that he picks and they end up getting married, I'm singing at their wedding. So
That's right. He did say that.
Okay. Well, look, we can have the same little wager going on over
right.
too.
So there you go. At the Josh Woods wedding.
Oh man, that'd be
well.
cool.
Hold on, wait. Let's make sure. Wait, we got to make sure the wife's okay with that. But you got my vote. You got my vote.
Okay, you could sit me at the little kids' table. I'm fine with.
Yeah, he's 5'5".
5'7".
Oh, I'm sorry. He's 5'7".
5'7.5", right, Phil?
Exactly. I am listed at 5'10" in the Hofstra Media Guide.
That's right. He played for Hofstra, too. So that's another thing on Phil's resume that, well, if we keep you here any longer, you're going to know all about Phil's life. We're going to let you go.
We got to just bring you back. Can we say we're having you back like after the draft?
Oh, yeah, sure.
There you
go. That's cool.
That's excellent.
We need to have this guy. But this guy is a star. I'm serious.
He is a star. There's no doubt about it. All right, Josh, we'll let you go. We'll let you go, Josh.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Take care, brother.
Josh. You guys have a great night.
Great. Oh, my God. Talk about a home run, Shayne.
Yeah, Shayne.
Marsaw Magic does it again.
Marsaw Magic. You're delivering the mail.
Damn, bro.
What a class act, Aldo.
That guy is a hell of a dude, man. You could just tell. Yeah. I want to hang out with him. I want to hang out with him at the titty bar. That's where I want to hang out. At the booty bar, whatever you want to call it.
I think we gotta have Josh and Joel come on together as a tag team duo on our drunk show that we've been talking about. I think that might be an epic show.
I agree. Hey, in honor of Shayne's great get there, I want to play this.
A faster wit than any of the Three Stooges. More insulting than an Alberto Riveron explanation. Blocked on Twitter by every moron with an insecurity complex.
Hey, look, over there, in the bar room.
It's Stephen Hawking.
Nah, he's dead.
It's that astrophysicist, Neil deGrasse Tyson.
What?
He's black.
Is it Captain Obvious?
Oh, it's the smartest man, motherfucker.
Yes, it's the smartest man in the bar room. A strange Bears fan from Hammond, New York, possessing powers and abilities far, far beyond those of mortal fans. The smartest man who can recall football information and wins arguments in a moment's notice, and who, disguised as Shayne Marsaw, mild-mannered postal worker, fights the never-ending battle for truth, justice, and the barroom way. He is a superhero beyond recognition. He is the smartest man in the barroom.
Oh, you are not only the smartest, but the super smartest man in the barroom. Nice job, Phil. That was one of your tracks that we need to play more often.
I know. That was like a blast from the past. I forgot about that.
This is the second time he's played it in 18 months.
Only when Aldo likes Shayne does that come out.
We got a fucking a lot of great shit here, man. All right, should we do some tweets?
Sure.
All right.
We are? I thought that was a no-go tonight.
Well, we said let's play it by ear if we feel it in. We can do that, or we can go straight to the auditions.
Yeah, give me one audition so I can write a little soliloquy.
Okay. All right. So for those of you who don't know, and you guys, Shayne, you can fill in the blanks here while Phil is working on this poem. We are holding auditions for a Sunday morning Bears pregame talk show, the one we had, the Barfly Tailgate show. Some of the members on the team stabbed us all in the back and have decided to... Just kidding, guys. But as I was saying...
I'm going home.
Just kidding. They've gone on to other pastures, greener or not. Hopefully, we wish them a lot of luck. But nonetheless, we're casting a new Barfly Tailgate show. It may not be called that, but we'll find out. And so we played one of the auditions last week. Who was it that we played last week, Shayne? That's how memorable it was.
That was the Gaines report, Tyler Ellis.
Gaines did a great job. And so now we're, going to play a few more. I think I got like 5 or 6 of them. So I played Aaron Currens at the very top of the show, and I thought that was super sensational. He personalized it. He talked about his history growing up as a Bengals fan, how he had to quit football to help his mom and so forth, and he talked about his allegiance to the Bears. I thought he did a great job. So let's follow that one up. Shayne, anything else you want to add before we play this, Shayne?
No, I don't think so. Roll it.
All right, let's start things off with Bellissimo.
Doc, Shayne, Bobby, Aldo. Content you guys have put out from day one of listening to the Bears Barroom has been fantastic. But as you said on 100 Proof, and you've said it so many times before, it's not enough to be okay, it's not enough to be good. It's about trying to be great in every single instant, every single opportunity we have to make a difference. I don't envy the job that you guys have got now to narrow down from 20 of us barflies that all want to be on the Tailgate show. Because to me, we're all a part of this. We're all brothers and sisters. We all love our Bears. And I know that whoever you choose will be listened to by the rest of us, retweeted, pushed out there, engaged with. So at this point, all I can do is put my best foot forward and know that I'm a part of the Barroom family already. I've already won. Whether I'm on the show or not, it's still winning because it's still great to be part of something that's bigger about our Bears. Nagy chose to be obsessed last year as a team mantra, and that's something he could well have taken from the Barroom. We're all obsessed about our Chicago Bears, and it matters. Content matters. The truth matters. Honesty matters. Every play, every down, every second matters. And I've only got 3 seconds to put myself forward and tell you my truth. And the truth is, 3 minutes isn't enough. I've been waiting all my life to be a part of something bigger, and I feel I found that now. I've been lucky enough to be on the Tailgate show in the past, did a segment where I spoke about my history, playing days, coaching days, supporting the Bears as a kid, supporting the Bears now, and being a part of the Tailgate show. So rather than talk about the past, I'm just going to talk about my truth. And the truth is that I think that humanity and being a part of something that's bigger, the best thing you can do as a human is to be open to connect, to make friends that you wouldn't be grouped in by anyone else's adjustment or their evaluation of you as a person. And Lord knows, enough people want to use those boxes just to divide us and push us apart. We see it every single day on Twitter. Bears fans all fighting against each other and, trying to bitch about who's this and who's that. Well, it doesn't matter. What matters is that because of our love for the Bears, the Barroom, and as Barflies, that it's all born out of a common obsession, our desire for the team and for our family of Barflies to do well. And you could pick any of the 20 Barflies and put them in 20 of the Barflies and put them all in a room for people who don't know us, and they wouldn't know we've got a connection. They wouldn't know anything about us. But the connections we've made are real through our obsession through being the Barfly and for following the Bears. It's real and it's valuable. Those 20 would be old, young, rich, poor, man, woman, black, white, red, white or blue, any other hue you can imagine. But we, every single one of us, bleed orange and navy. We're all obsessed about our Bears, and we're all a family of Barflies. So sometimes I'll be outspoken, sometimes I'll call out my family, sometimes I'll defend them as if their life depended upon it, but I will be genuine, I will be considered, and I will give you the truth in every single moment. Because like these 3 minutes of opportunity, every second counts. Bear down, Bellissimo out.
Wow, that was awesome. I got to tell you.
Wow.
You listen to Aaron, you listen to Bellissimo, and last week you listened to Gaines. These guys are guys of high character. I mean, they make me feel like a fucking degenerate loser. Immoral asshole. These guys are just really good people. And so that's the first thing that strikes me about all these contestants that have entered. And then secondly, they're all talented. They all want to share Bears information and do it in their own unique style, and that's all we could ask for. Shayne, what do you think about this guy?
Oh, you can't ask for anybody better. I mean, it's just Phil and I talk every day about all of these guys, and there's a group of them that are just special, and you know, it's really hard to believe. I go back to Sandy Tom when we had him on. It still kind of blows my mind when he was so, you know, he couldn't believe it. He's like, I can't believe I'm on this show with you guys after listening to you for so long. And it's the same way with Aaron and Barlissimo. These guys, they're thousands of miles away, but they feel like they're just, you know, sitting here on the couch next to you, shooting the shit and talking ball. And I said, one of these days would be fantastic if we could get everybody together and have a beer and watch a game. But it's I love it. It makes what we do here so much, you know, it makes it worth it, having people like Barlissimo and Aaron, you know, provide us with their thoughts and what they think about us, and it, you know, helps you keep, you know, going forward with this and then keep doing what we're doing. I love every part of it.
Awesome. I'm going to play another one because I can see that Phil is still working on his rap poetry for tweets.
How hard is it to write something that doesn't rhyme?
What did I do? Last week I got to take objection. That totally rhymed. You just didn't hear the last part.
You just don't pay attention. Every time I make a comment, I say it doesn't rhyme. And you're like, no, it does.
I missed that running joke. Fuck.
All right, let me play a guy that's very special to my heart because he did a sensational job on the previous show with his Badge of Honor segment. You should know who I'm talking about. Next up, Ryan Badgley.
Bears Barroom. Man, what an honor. What a privilege to have the ability to say that I'm with a group of men and women who have transcended the podcast game, in my opinion, as far as Bears coverage goes. There is no better Bears coverage out right now than what Bears Barroom is doing. And now even broadening that with Mike North, talking baseball. You guys, you look at the lineup of guys on these shows. What would make you not want to be a part of it? Mike North, a legend in Chicago. Phil Etoshin, Shayne Marsaw, Aldo Gandia, my man Bobby Bombs, the Games Report, kicking things off with this competition with an epic rant and what it means to him. And guys, man, I had the privilege of being part of the original Barfly Tailgate show. And it started as just a segment with Badge of Honor, and just being able to say that I was that small part of it was such a privilege to me. And what I got to do to talk about these players and the things they're doing off the field was just so awesome. And then I finally got the call to be on the show every week, 3 hours. And I was so blessed. I live in a small area, not a lot of Bears fans, you know, not a lot of ability to talk football. And this brought me an outlet to be able to do that, to be able to break it down and really talk about my passion and my love for the Chicago Bears. And to be able to do that and still be on a mic. I've done radio for 14, 15 years now. And to be able to do that and talk about my favorite team in the world was such a blessing and such an honor. Phil, Shayne, Aldo, Bobby, I can't thank you guys enough. Gaines, it was an honor, man, to be able to hold it down with you all season, man. You bring that fire, that energy, that passion. And that's what I expect, man, from this show. This, You know, we're a bunch of guys. The guys going for this, man, we are diehards. We live for this team. We live for this organization. We live for Bears Barroom. And I just love being able to say that I'm part of this. And no matter what, man, continue to support it. Appreciate whatever, everything you guys have done. And really looking forward to this opportunity to continue to be a part of Bears Barroom. And cannot wait to see what the future entails. Appreciate your time, guys. Hope everybody has a fantastic day. Yes, I'm in my car. No means to copy my boy Gaines here. Just keeping it away from the fam for a little bit. So appreciate the time, and as always, bear down.
Ryan Badge.
Wow.
Badgley, bringing it in a big way.
Wow, they keep bringing it, Aldo. Holy shit!
I'm getting a little.
I'm
worried.
dead serious.
Yeah, I'm geting a little worried. We're gonna have a tough choice here. Well, you guys are. You decide.
Tailgate show is going to be 45 deep.
Well, we wanted talent.
Yep, definitely got it. You taking a shot at some guys?
I don't know. I'm just saying the truth. You know, that's what we wanted. And put your best foot forward and show us that you're prepared and you want this. And each one of these guys, I mean, they're sending them to all of us, and then we kind of do a little producing. Some of them have produced their own stuff, like Tooch, and Berlissimo did his own thing. So the more you could do for Bears Barroom, in my mind, the better. And you're looking for a panel, Shane, but we're also looking for people for segments too, and to help the Bears Barroom. If you want to be a part of this and you have the talent to do it, and you have ideas and you want to be a part of that, and you're not in a DM chat talking shit behind people's back, you just keep it 100, and you appreciate the team. I mean, the one thing that stood out about Josh Woods was that he's praising his teammates, the competition that are taking, you know what I'm saying? And Iggy, same thing when you played it. He's talking about someone that's trying to take his job. So if they could be team and they could be brothers and loyal, that's exactly what we've been looking for here. And that's why this first test, I'm blown away by these guys, Aldo. Blown away.
I am too. So how you doing with your post?
Oh, I'm ready. I was looking for Tooch's audition.
I got it right. Yeah.
Okay, I wanted to make sure I gave it to you. I'm sorry. That's all I was looking to make sure in the Dropbox.
And now, Johnny the Tooch Santucci.
Hey Barflies, this is Tooch, and I'm here to talk about the truth of the barroom. What brought me here to the Barroom Radio Network, what it means to be a part of the Barfly community. Because it is a community. It's a place where thoughts and ideas are freely shared and encouraged. People here respect one another and are united in a common purpose. To love and support and even reprimand our beloved NFL franchise. The charter member of the first team, the Chicago Bears. But first, I've got to rewind a bit. Back to 1974, when I was 6 years old. I crept into the living room of my parents' home because there was a racket. As my dad and uncles gathered around the TV set, they were watching a Bears game and screaming at the TV, "Break his leg! I wanted to know what elicited such passion. It was Bears football, and I've been a fan for 45 years. I've never looked back because, hey man, it was Walter Payton. I've seen a lot of Bears games. Fast forward 10 years. The Bears are winning a Super Bowl. Not just winning, but dominating, annihilating. This was the greatest team ever. Then there were lean times ahead, though, when the Tressman and Fox Zeros had me in a funk. It was a boiling point. After the relief of Tressman's weirdness was finally gone, we got John Fox.
I think, I think I look back, I don't think that we were anywhere in the midst of being picked to win the Super Bowl or anything of that.
I knew I would suffer some more. How would I get through it alone?
You know you got to feel it. You got to feel it.
What attracted me to Bears Barroom? Well, I listened to 100 Proof. It was salty, lots of F-bombs, but it was also funny and smart. There was music and parody, mostly by some guy called Draft Dr. Phil, who sounded a lot like Guido the Killer Pimp from Risky Business. And these guys knew their stuff. There was the barkeeper and the smartest man. There was steak and there was whiskey, two of my favorite things. And it was all good. The Barfly chat room was friendly and welcomed me immediately. The variety of the show and guests were great. Also, there were all these right-on-cue great drops by the bartender. And his mixes were straight-out imperial, man. So I started writing articles about the Bears. Then, when I found I was going to be a part of it all, working with my longtime podcast partner, Joey Two Scoops, the Goon, I was so excited I couldn't sleep. When Uncle Mike North joined the barroom, I cried with joy. I knew Bears Barroom was going to be special. I knew it was going to be big. I mean, it's the best damn Bears podcasting out there. Am I right? So that's the spirit. That's the truth. That's the bar. This is Tooch, and I will talk to you later.
Wow.
Man,
Tooch.
Man. This guy.
Tooch produced that whole thing, too.
And that was his 14 kids playing the music in the background,
too. Now, I understand that was his second attempt at it, right? He sent in a couple of entries.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You heard the rumor? Who told you that? It wasn't me.
Tooch and I had lunch this weekend.
Oh, he's ratting out the boys.
Aldo, those motherfuckers.
Those motherfuckers.
You think that he was trying to work me to get on the A-list of contestants? Here's the funny story. So he says, "Yeah, let's get together and have a talk. I want to catch up with you. I've been worried about you. You sound like you're down in the dumps and so forth." So I go, "Yeah." He goes, "And I'm buying, man. You bought the last 2 times." So we head over to Schaumburg, and he tells me to meet him at a restaurant that I never heard of. I never heard of this place.
IHOP. Aldo, I'm treating.
It's Taco Bell. You saw the leftovers he had.
So I think we're going into a nice little quiet place, to talk, to have a nice conversation. And we walk in there, and it is a hard metal rock place. And this is the music that's playing all around, right? And these girls with green hair and torn pantyhose and stuff, they sit us down, and I'm trying to flirt with them, because I flirt with every waitress ever, but they can't hear me. I can't hear them. I can't hear Tooch because it's so fucking loud in this place.
I thought you said green hair and loud music. I thought that we were playing Zimmerman's entrance.
That's next. But we had a good time. And I told him, man, you would be perfect for this show, but I'm worried about you because you got your hands in so many different things. You want to do a podcast about streaming. You got your movie podcast, which he wants to rename Box Office Barflies. You've got, the fantasy football show. Now you want to add on a fourth podcast. And for all of these other podcasts, you're doing them holding the baby while you're feeding the baby. So he goes,
gotta feed the baby, Jerry.
So he like pauses for a while. He pauses. And so this is what I hear while he pauses. So finally he says, yeah, you're right. Yeah, maybe I could just do some pop-on appearances on the tailgate show. I go, well, I don't know. That's up to you. But, man, he's super talented. He's just got a lot on his plate. And so I told him to be cautious with that because I know how that goes.
Sounds like a young Aldo Gandia.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, Jesus.
4 years younger.
He's very talented, I'll tell you that. Very talented.
Well, he put his foot in the ring, and that shows production chops. Twice. Should we tell why? Did he tell you why we made him do it again?
No, he did not.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Should we tell him? Keep it on you.
Go ahead, Phil.
So, Bobby writes this piece, this whole outline of what we're asking you to do in round one. Okay?
Okay.
So, give it to all these guys. They're in a DM. This is what you're going to do. Yeah, everybody's going to try out because that's what fairness is. You don't just, okay, Gaines, we got you, you're in, you did it. No. That's what anyone with duh in their name would have. We want to try out, duh.
But there was very specific rules.
Exactly.
Pretty easy to.
It was very easy. It's called, why do you want to be on the show?
Okay.
Why Bears Barroom? Okay.
And then what were they supposed to do? They're supposed to send it to us individually. Tooch, right, Phil?
Yes, send it to us individually. So all this drama comes with Tooch because he makes this sci-fi entry with a hypothetical rant, like a BHL rant after the England Raiders game.
1960. Let's go back to 1962.
That's great.
Gandia's the only one that's fucking born at that point. But Tooch is taking us back there.
Thought the time I had my first heart on. Yeah, go ahead.
So Tooch does this hypothetical. We're like, and Joe and Bobby are like, wow, it's creative, isn't it? I go, yeah, it is, but it isn't the fucking thing we want. I want to know why. I get it. And Shayne, we texted at the same time. So everyone was like, you know what, you're right. I go, because all of a sudden Tooch is showing his chops, but everybody else is doing the rule of why they want. So it wouldn't work. That's why. So explaining that to Tooch, I think when you put the effort, as you saw that he did,
yeah, absolutely,
you kind of get hurt because the fucking creativity of it was great. We should play it on the next. We'll make you wait for that. The Hank cliffhanger. We'll play his original. Yeah. That'll be
when we don't vote him into the show. That could be his going away.
But anyway,
honorable mentions.
I was just like, Tooch, love you, loved it, but you got to do it here. And then this is what he did in response to that. He stepped up. So that's the true 100 proof story.
All right. Well, we've got a few more to play, but first.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Tooch, guess what? Your wife's pregnant again, yeah.
He never backs down from a fight. He ain't no cunt-ass mother. He will speak the truth. He never, ever will lie on his little brother. He's the smartest man. And this is the dumbest tweet of the week.
I have to hand it to you. You came up with that, pretty quickly. didn't have a chance to do a rewrite, which it needed. But nonetheless, it works. And now we go on to the part of the show. If you have not heard this segment of the show before, then shame on you. Shame on you. It's like not watching Game of Thrones. This is where Shayne Marsaw tells us he gives us 2 tweets, at least 2. One is a bad one and one is a good one. We always start off with the bad one. Maybe he's got more than one. Let's see what he's got. Shayne.
We do only have one bad one this week, but it's going to be, this is a consistent contributor to this category.
Oh,
this guy, and I can't call him Man Bun anymore because it looks like he chopped it off.
Oh.
But it's Robert Ziglinski at Robert Ziglinski.
I remember him.
Yeah, he sent out a tweet. It says the Bears haven't had a compensatory pick for 10 years. One of the key underrated aspects of sustained success in the NFL. And the Bears want to keep both Adrian Amos and Bryce Callahan, and some of you fans do too. Why? There's such a good thing as letting players walk. So compensatory selections are an underrated aspect of sustaining success. So I went back and looked over the last 10 years, and do you guys have a guess who has had the most draft picks over the last 10 years? What NFL team?
I'm going to guess the Green Bay Packers.
I was going to say the Packers, too.
And both you guys would be fucking wrong.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah. Well, this team that has the most draft picks over the last 10-year period, the reason that they do is because of their compensatory picks that put them over the top. And that team is, so this is going to show you how much water Robert's theory holds. That team would be the Cincinnati Bengals. Whoops.
Man bun strikes again.
Oh my God! That was he was the subject of my rant on Monday's PHL.
That took me about 35 seconds on Google to find that, and probably by the looks of this tweet took, I don't know, Robert probably put in a good solid 20-25 seconds typing this out before he hit tweet. But yeah, the highest pick you can get in compensatory picks is a third round.
Exactly.
At the end of the third round.
Right.
So, everybody knows that if you want to sustain success, you got to accumulate compensatory picks.
Well, and the reason that I said the Packers was because that was former GM Ted Thompson's strategy. He would let his free agents walk because he wanted to pile up as many compensatory picks as possible, and it didn't work. He hardly hit on any of those third, fourth, fifth rounders that he got in return. So for Robert Ziglinski, I have to say this:
build a great big wall around him.
It sounds like Stephen Hawking.
It is.
The funny thing is, Aldo, about this fucking dumb theory is that people liked it.
Oh, really?
People actually believe that. And the funny thing is, like, common sense in football. Listen, good player that you already have. It's the same thing as Khalil Mack when I was fighting the nerds about trade. Known commodity, good player, or gamble. Known commodity or like, who works with a gamble?
I don't get it.
Because you have more shots at a gamble? You're a fucking loser.
You are a loser. A great big nerdy loser.
You try to build your team with a fucking calculator. And it doesn't, yes, you have to be financially responsible. We understand that. You can't just go out and pay, exorbitant amounts of money to everybody. We understand that. But come on. This is not about third round draft picks, fourth round draft picks. Have the Bears hit on those picks? Yeah, we have lately. But it's a very, 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 very minuscule part of the success. Yes, you want to have more bullets in the chamber. to give yourself more of a chance. But the Cincinnati Bengals, that, like I said, that your theory is blown out of the water right there.
Put more bullets in the chamber, point it at your head, and fire.
So Adrian, we know you're a good player, but we want sustained success. So we need a pick at the end of the third round. Yeah.
Maybe we'll get someone good there.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I guess when he cut that man bun off, all the fucking knowledge left too. Yeah.
He invented the shag rug and the commentary not too shabby. He loves positivity. He'll stand for the truth, and his only hope is to keep Rat happy. He's the smartest man, and this is his best tweet of the week.
If you're really a doctor, can you check my balls?
Sounds like 2 scoops. Holy smokes.
Holy smokes.
All right, now we get to the good tweet, the tweet that we can all be proud of and share with our family and friends. Shayne, what do you got?
Well, it's not a real great tweet, but it plays off of something that was talked about this offseason, and it goes with the no stone unturned quote that Ryan Pace put out there with the kicking game. Brad Biggs sent out a tweet earlier today that the Bears held another group tryout at Hallis Hall, and the team has signed another kicker. Former Pitt kicker Chris Blewit emerged from the field. And I don't know anything about this kid. Chris Blewit, it's an awful name for a field goal kicker, obviously. But the bigger story to me is that
you dated a prom. Like you had a date with
you blew it.
Girl.
It's a bad name for anybody.
Like Alicia Blewit.
Let me introduce you. Kimmy Head. Please meet Chris Blewit.
Yeah.
Just DM me if you ever dated anybody named Blewit.
My name is Ivana Blewit.
That is the most. I'm sorry, Shayne.
That's a good one. Now play with my tits.
Susie Swallows, and what was her name?
My name is Tara Dickoff.
Okay.
Since we're totally off the rails here,
yes,
Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy both talked about it. They're gonna keep bringing guys in, and this shows that they're not sitting idly by. Free agency opens next week. They're still bringing in all of these kickers because they want to get it right. And like I said, you want to see, they have to get this right. It's just as, I don't want to say it's just as important as picking the right quarterback, because it's not on that same level, but we see that it can destroy your season in the blink of an eye. And that's, I'm just glad that they are out there, doing what they said that they were going to do and trying to find out. And I don't think they're done. I don't know how you guys feel, but I think there's going to be even more in store.
You are very, very smart.
Did you see what Greg Gabriel had tweeted out about his workout?
At that kicking camp where he won that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He buried like 63 yarders, 3 of them.
Yeah, and he had it wasn't just, with Cody Parkey, they talked about it. It was just, there was no explosion. This guy was destroying the football. Yeah, that's...
He's got a YouTube, so if Barflies, if you want, Greg Gabriel, friend of the show, he tweeted out Chris Blewit had a kicking competition at the Cole Kicking Academy, and you can find the competition on YouTube. And Greg goes on to say Blewit has a strong leg. Just be assured of that. So, but the other thing was, Shayne, more competition. They asked Ryan Pace. Aldo did a tremendous job last week, pulling that audio of the Pace presser and putting it together, but he said it. Oh, we might bring more than 2. And here you go, to your point, getting guys in there that want it. And say this last point about, it's not as important as a quarterback, but when you bring 20 of 22 starters back right now, today, what is today, March 6th, we haven't hit free agency. The kicker is a huge aspect of what it is your team and what can hold your team back from getting to where they needed to go, and it proved its point, even though we all knew it. It's like Ryan Pace doesn't listen to Gandia, Atoshin, and Marsaw soon enough. We told him to get rid of Fox, start Trubisky, milliseconds don't matter. So now he's got to listen to the kicker competition, and I think the third time is going to be a charm because Barth was horrific. I'm sorry.
At least he didn't listen to me when I said, don't go after Khalil Mack. We got to give him credit for that.
Exactly.
Just wait a couple of years and you can sign him for free.
That's right.
That was a great line.
It's the Sandman, Chris Sandman.
Sorry about that. Some people are still stuck in 1985. Be you. Be you. That's Matt Nagy's message to the Bears. That's also the message that you at Bears Barroom want from us for this tailgate show. Well, you got it. What's up, fellas? So you want to know why we want to be on this tailgate show? Why I want to be on this tailgate show? You know, I've been a Bears fan pretty much my whole life since I was about 6 or 7 years old. Followed them through thick and thin, and over the last couple of years have been the greatest years of my life as far as being a Bears fan. You know, Bears Barroom is what I've been looking for 20 plus years. All the fellows that I've met along the way, you know, you guys give us an outlet to be the Bears fans that we want to be. You know, when I met Phil and Aldo and Pablo and Jim Larison and Trey Busy and Greg Braggs, you know, it just totally opened up my eyes to how passionate other Bears fans were and are that I haven't even met yet. Bears Barroom has opened that avenue for all of us, and I totally appreciate it, and I'm glad that you guys are doing what you're doing. You know, just like I put on the flag, hashtag truth. You guys speak the truth. I want the truth, and I do my best to speak the truth. This opportunity is an amazing thing that you guys have done. What I love about the bar room is not only are you just talking, but you guys are talking to us. You know, you guys are involving us, other fans, just like yourselves. You know, you guys open avenues for all kinds of people to do all kinds of things. I mean, look at the Super Barflies. Look at what we've all done. The opportunity to share that on Sunday mornings with Bobby Bombs, Joe Mandel, all of you guys is just an amazing opportunity that would be very humbling if I was one of them chosen. So even if I'm not, you know, I know whoever does is still going to do an amazing job. You know, every barfly knows that we are a collective family. Bears Bar Room brought us together and made this possible. I'm a super barfly, but I want more. You know, I love having an outlet for my Bears fandom for what this is about. And, you know, you guys have made that possible. And Shayne, even though we haven't met yet, that phone call that you and Phil gave me for the Super Barfly, it meant a lot to me. You know, even though it was on a very bad football night as far as the Michigan Penn State game goes, you know, that was still the light of my weekend. You know, I couldn't ask for more. The sincereness that all of you guys bring to all of us, and everyone that I've met through Twitter, through Bears Barroom. It's made me a different and better person, and it's made it more fun to be a Bears fan. Love talking about the Bears. There aren't as many passionate fans around here as there are everywhere else that we get to meet, we get to hear about. But, I live in Colts country, and it's been hard. It's been hard, especially since the Super Bowl. But thanks to you guys, I've made a lot of good friends. You guys are like family to me. So whatever happens, and I can't wait to see what the next chapter of the Tailgate Show is. Thanks, guys. I appreciate
it. Chris Sandlin is a bad motherfucker. I get the feeling that Chris has won a lot of fights in bar rooms, man. Don't you, Phil?
Yeah, around his presence, he seems like your guy you don't want to fuck around with.
That's for sure. He's a cool guy, man.
He is a great dude.
His entry was so fucking good.
Well, I put it on the promo tonight.
Yeah, and that's the thing. There's so many visual aspects to it that were so awesome, to the blueberries and the bowl of blueberries and the blueberry beer and the way that it starts off. I mean, I everybody texts, LOL. Well, I literally LOL'd when his video started off. That was fucking classic.
That was pretty cool.
It was.
We
told Aldo right away. We were like, wait till you see Sandlin's video.
Yep.
There's got to be a promo or something to it. But Aldo was busy, so I just said, you know what? I'm going to introduce 100 Proof tonight with a guy trying to get on the Tailgate Show on an audition eve. So
pretty fucking awesome.
It really was. That was great stuff. And then the Rudy soundtrack in the background.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of looks like Rudy.
How tall is Sandlin?
I would say
he's about the same height as me, bro.
No, he's taller than you.
What?
He's 5'9" or 5'10".
I got pictures here of me and him together.
I don't know. Every time
Why are you giving him height over me?
Every time I took a picture alongside of you, I made myself smaller. I had that wide stance, Dropped down to 3 inches. You look for that picture. I want to play this. Next up, Matthew Beck.
Matthew Beck. My shot. My rant. The Chicago Bears, a team with culture, history. My team. My pride. My passion. My everything. My love, the Bears. People could say, well, who are you? I've never heard of this Matthew Beck guy. I don't see him on Twitter. Well, I'm not a super active guy on Twitter. You can guarantee before every game I'll post Let's Go Bears on Twitter and I'll interact a little bit, but you can guarantee that from either it's 6 PM or 1:30 in the morning, I will be there watching the Bears. It don't matter about the time about the Bears. I'll stay up for the Bears if they were on at 3:30 in the morning. It don't matter. I don't miss snaps. I don't miss the Bears. I'll interact a bit on Twitter, but I'm not like a really active guy on Twitter. So like, what people could be saying, well, why do you want to be on a podcast? My writing skills are not good, but my voice is as strong as anything. And to be honest, if I get on this podcast, it'll be here with a boom. And that's why I want to be on the show. I want to make this show great. I want to make this show better than the past podcast. I want to make this show an entertainment on a Sunday afternoon instead of listening to it, which I listen to every Tailgate Show because it was on at 2 PM in the afternoon and it was perfect for me. Because obviously the other shows I don't get to listen to live, I have to listen to the podcast because of time restraints. It'd be perfect for me to voice my passion, the Chicago Bears, talk about the Bears, shoot the shit with people who want to talk about something I want to talk about. All I want to do is talk to people about the blood, the sweat, the tears would go on the field on that Sunday, on Soldier Field. The new show ain't got a new name yet. but it don't need a name. If it's full with barflies, if it's full with people with passion, people that want to work as a team, not as individuals, no secret fucking plans about doing something else. It's just about people who want to talk about the Bears, who are loyal barflies to the bar room. That's Bears bar room. But the show will be different. No circle jerking, all agreeing all the time. We just need to be legit. Like Nagy says, be obsessed about the Bears, but we're already obsessed about the Bears. I love the Bears. I love the bar room. When you combine my two passions, you will get the best out of me. So let's get fired up. The Bears are back in September, and this show needs to be ready. It needs to be its best. Bobby will bring the bombs, and I will bring the fire. Let's make some explosions. Let's make ripples in Barfly Nations. Let's make this podcast as good as it can be. Let's make it a top quality podcast. Let's make ripples. And just everyone with the right mindset. Put people in the right mindset for the game that's to come. For the passion. For the Bears. The Bears. On Sunday. So let's make this new show have an identity. Let it be the hype squad. This podcast ends an hour before the game. Let's not have no Debbie Downer bullshit. Let's not point fingers. Let's just be Bears fans. Let's bring the passion, the energy. Something fun. Great for the listeners. And all I've got to say on that is bear down and a boom.
Matthew Beck sounds like a professor over at Cambridge who wants to be at the Bears bar room.
Across the pond bringing it, huh?
When you said Matthew and I'm like, fucking Balsley put in a submission.
He's back with his jerky.
That would be fun to have Balsley back.
He's too much. He's too much of a pussy.
Can you, I gotta ask this because we're on 100 proof to you guys. Say me and you get into a spat, which we argue and whatever, but I leave and I'm like, fuck you. Mm-hmm. And I've talked all this shit about other people that I don't like. Mm-hmm. But then I go running to those same other people that I don't like. What kind of, what? I honestly, guys, I'm keeping it 100. I'm not going to say names or anything. You could put your own names to this. Mm-hmm. But what is that? Because that's not in my body. If I fucking hate what you did and I'm mad at you, I'm not going to other guys that I fucking hate too just because they hate you too.
Yeah, I
what
know.
Is that?
I think I know who you're talking about.
I'm just seriously.
And I have no idea. Aldo, would you like to fill me?
That's Matt Balsley did that exact behavior. Yeah. Acting. What is it? Is it no backbone? You have no moral integrity, or everything you said was false? Everything you stood for is false. I can't imagine being that. So I'm glad we did, I think Gaines said this to me once. I'll steal it. You fucking cut the grass low, the snakes scramble. You start seeing the fucking snakes. We cut the grass low, see the moral integrity, because I don't give a fuck how mad I get at Aldo or Shayne or whatever. You'll never see me kissing ass or kissing up to known frauds and known shit that you talked about, those same fucking people, the moral code that you have to yourself in the mirror. I don't know. I guess as a football guy, that doesn't work in the locker room. Because I guess if we ask Woods or any of those motherfuckers, they'd be like, fuck no, that's a fucking puss boy.
He talked about how good their locker room was.
Exactly.
He said that was one of the reasons why they were 12-4.
That was huge.
There was no drama. I mean, it tells you right there.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we don't know.
Bears Barroom breaking news. Shayne has just sent over a photograph of draft
The
Dr.
visual
Phil.
reference?
Yes.
Oh, I sent it in Slack.
I know, but Shayne added a...
Oh, he added some more to it? Oh, Jesus. I didn't see all this.
So we have a photo here of Phil, and to his right is Chris Hanlon, who is clearly 2 to 3 inches taller than him, and to Phil's left is Pablo Jax, who is also 2 to 3 inches taller than Phil. And Shayne has provided an arrow.
I know. He's doing graphics on this shit. I can't even do him a graphic to promote the show. He's like, I don't know how to do it. He's busting my balls.
I sent you a BHL promo. You fuckers never even used it.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
Come on. The DK Metcalf.
That was Joe. He's fucking dropping the ball, Joe.
He's probably watching the fucking Blackhawks game.
Is Joe a Blackhawks fan?
Oh, yes. Go ahead.
Honey, did you taste this cake? Is this the one? Is this the one?
Hold on.
I thought we were going to have Pop-Tarts.
He's like, guys, I'm busy.
I got a tasting.
What tasting is he at this time? This guy's have more tastings for his wedding.
All right, we have a lot more entries, but for today, this is the last one we'll play. We'll play some more next week. Never mind the ring. He's not phoning this one in. Steven Zim Zimmerman.
What's up, guys? It's your favorite green-haired Bears fan, Steven Zim Zimmerman. So, why do I want to be on the new Tailgate show? That's a loaded question. So, living in Denver, I don't really have a whole lot of people to talk Bears with, and that really sucks. It's nothing but Broncos fans out here, so unless you want to talk Broncos, you don't really talk football. A little over a year ago, I stumbled on Phil's Twitter page, and that kind of changed everything. Almost right away, I subscribed to the podcast, and the very first episode that came up after that was the Akeem Hicks Kyle Long episode of 100 Proof. And I was sold within 5 minutes. At that point in time, I was listening to maybe 7 or 8 different Bears-related podcasts, but that stopped almost right away. In that past year, I've become as dedicated a barfly as anyone out there, and this is my way to give back to a community that's invited me in so openly and immediately treated me as one of their own. I think it's pretty obvious to anyone who pays attention that I want to be a part of the Bears Barroom broadcast team. This is the 3rd competition I've entered involving the Barroom. I've appeared on multiple Bears Barroom radio shows. I've written articles for the Barroom's website. I've created YouTube videos and even a parody song, all because I wanted to be as involved as I can. This isn't a fluke. I tried working with another podcast before I started contributing to the Barroom, and it's because I believe in what the Barroom is doing, and I want to be a part of this. I believe in what this community at the Barroom is doing. It's pure, honest, unadulterated Bears coverage. And moreover, I believe that I'm far from my ceiling as a contributor to this family, and I want to continue to share that passion with the Bears Barroom family to my fullest potential. It's tough for me to do things like this audition and show my true colors, my wit, my knowledge, my humor, and my creativity, but I assure you that given a chance, I'm not going to let you down. I'm eager to learn about podcasting and broadcasting. I want to learn to produce, and this seems like a really great opportunity to do that. I also want to write parody songs and share them with you like I have in the past, but I think I can do better. I think I can do more. I want to fully entrench myself in this brotherhood of Bears fans that we have at the Barroom. So why do I want to be on this new incarnation of the Barfly Tailgate Show? Because I know it's going to be better with me on it. I've got a desire to help make this group stronger, smarter, more creative, and overall just better than what any of us can imagine right now. I know that I'm going to come prepared, I'm going to come driven, and I'm going to be obsessed. So that's that. And I trust that you guys are going to make the right decision, regardless of who you choose. Just know that I'm not going away anytime soon, and I'm going to continue to work towards making the Barroom better, whether it's through this show or through another outlet.
That ain't bad, man.
Zim. You know what? I'm listening to Zim's. That was like, he did all that himself. He produced it, and I honestly listened to the first 2 minutes and stopped it because I wanted to hear it on the show. Mm-hmm. I honestly what I visualize is the show. What's it called? Fuck. Big Brother or somebody when they're in the fucking camera room.
In the confession room or
the
whatever.
Confession room. That's what I see when he's talking. I'm listening to it intently, Zim, and I thought it was really good. Well, I can't get that image like he is, trying to get in Puff Daddy's house. I was in the confessional hotel. I really had a tough day with the other rappers, you know what I'm saying? That's
not very many of them would talk to me about Bears football.
Exactly. But that was great. That was
Strong
good stuff.
entry.
These guys, Aldo.
Stepping it up.
It's going to be
I
tough.
think the thing that we really wanted, and I know Shayne says it all the time, we speak a lot. And we brought Bobby into the equation. That, the thing that really wanted most is, do they get what we're doing here? Do you get it? And that tonight, I think each one of them aren't playing ass kisser.
No, I didn't.
That's what we don't want, Aldo. I don't want that's what I just ranted about. Like, I don't know what that is. I would never do that to anybody. Not even an enemy. I wouldn't go to my enemy's enemy and be friends with them. That's not. Do you know what Bears Ballroom is? Do you know what Shayne brings? Do you know what he does? Do you know what he brings to the table? Do you enjoy it? Do you want to be a part of it? Do you want to work? Do you want to help promote? Do you want to do graphics? Do you want to do a promo? Do you want to do a song? Whatever it is. I think we've set, and I know I talk a lot or whatever, but I think these two guys, I don't say it enough, they set the bar and they set the deck. They allow me to be me, but at the same time, without them, I'm not on that. And that unity is a brotherhood. So that kind of group, that kind of team is what we're looking for. And if you're a part of that and you really want it, that's what we wanted to see. And so far, I haven't seen a weakness except for Tooch's double take. And we found out he ratted us out, Shayne.
Fucking guy.
He went right to the boss. It's that
Are
kid
you
who
with us
tells
or
him-
against us, bitches?
Oh, wait a minute. Let me play that again.
Are you with us or against us, bitches?
I went there when you sent us that link, and mine was "fuck you, Balsley," in the Sarah voice, but it didn't sound that good.
Yeah, you gotta. Certain sentences work well and certain don't. Like this one worked pretty well.
Suck my pussy.
My pussy.
Sounds like
Soak it.
Sounds like
Soak
my
it.
mom.
Soak it.
Sook it.
Sook my
Do they
pussy.
say that in the Czech?
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. Was she from Czech Republic?
I swear to
Smartest
God.
man in the bar, that's funny.
Did you hear that
I
one?
went.
Smartest man.
Oh, go ahead.
Smartest man in the bar, that's funny.
That's funny.
That's funny.
Shayne can translate all these, ready, Aldo? Because they all sound like a Czech woman.
True story. The first time, Hila asked me for my number, and then when she fucking called me, I had no clue. We were texting and doing that whole thing, and
you didn't know she had the accent.
Fuck no, I knew. No,
yeah, because you met on online. That's right.
Yeah, on a dating
Aldo.
site.
A dating site.
Yeah, we had
two of our barroom guys.
Yeah.
Joey Two Scoops and fucking Shayne Moneyman Marsaw.
Not bad.
Yeah. I was driving down the road and my fucking phone rang, and I remember I had given her my number. I wasn't thinking anything of it, and I looked down and I'm like, oh shit, this is that girl. So I pick it up and she started talking to me. I'm like, yep, that's not gonna fucking work. I always tell her, because I mean it was even more so, 10 years ago when we met, 9 years ago. And it was pretty fucking thick. But I love it when you guys meet her, because I'd like to hear or see your reaction, because she's like she'll talk to my dad, and my dad will just sit there and say, "Yep." He's half the time has no fucking clue what she says. He just nods and says, "Yeah, no shit."
I was trying to find some audio of Czechoslovakian swear words.
Oh no! Don't say Czechoslovakian.
Oh.
She'll kick your ass.
Okay, what is
2 different places. Czech Republic.
Czech Republic swear words. I'll edit that.
Oh, I've heard lots of those. Actually, I have one on my phone. She gives me the double bird and says "fucker." It's actually "fucker."
There you go.
How do you play it? I press play. It doesn't work.
You have to take your phone off silent, dickhead.
It's not on silent. Oh, maybe I have to switch this switch on, maybe?
Yeah. Try that.
Hold on. Let me try.
Maybe it's that arrow it's for your head.
Nice.
Yeah, that is. There it is. Ready?
Play it again.
That is very nice. That is very nice.
That is a perfect segue to the debut of a new Draft Dr. Phil song.
Oh, yeah. Bomb. Feel that fire. Feel that bomb. Smiling down. Here's a little song I wrote. Greg told me sing it note for note, but don't worry. Make Greg happy. In the best Twitter we may have trouble, but when you worry, make it double. Don't worry, Greg. No. Be happy. The tailgate show left you for dead, but don't yell, just smile instead. And don't worry, Greg. No. I'll be happy. But if Mike Press drunk tweet you, go for what you know. Do you and be you and be you and be Greg and be happy. Mike Press drunk tweets about the show. Don't give a fuck and don't be an asshole. And don't worry, Greg, I'll be happy. Ain't got no love for Captain Hook. Ain't got no time to be that smug. And don't worry, Greg. Oh, Bob's happy. Oh, when you get angry and stuff, it might mount up and give you that love. And don't worry. Come on. Be happy. Everybody sing it. Ain't nobody ain't got no trouble. Every time you get me in trouble, don't worry, tell the truth and be happy. The man got to make his tweet. Yeah. The dumbest tweet of the week is free. And don't worry, Greg, and Greg's happy. We got Dan and his big voice. We are the podcast that's your choice. And don't worry, no, barflies. Be happy. We keep it real, we speak the truth. Don't like the nerve in their captain shoes. And don't worry, Greg, be happy. The super producer might get real mad, but he's got a real baller pad. And don't worry, you don't have to worry. He's happy. Take a little look to see who's in trouble. Don't respond, don't need it double. Don't worry, Phil. He's happy. We got Aldo, Phil, and Shayne. It's 100 proof we done it again. And don't worry, we're happy. Yes. Come on, yes, Bears Barroom. Barroom. 100 proof. Yeah. Bears Barroom. Bears Barroom. 100 proof.
And that's it.
You know why he's so happy? Because he ain't changing fucking diapers. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, Aldo, how many diapers did you change with your daughter when she was a babe?
I would say,
Actually, within the first month. How about that?
Yeah.
How many did you do yourself?
maybe 3,
Yes.
4, 5. Maybe 5.
Within the first month. Yeah. Okay.
All right, so you and Greg.
Oh, Greg's daughter's like how old?
Oh, she's 9 months.
9
Yeah.
months, and he's changed 3 diapers.
9 months?
Yes.
Yeah, I haven't
No, he's
checked
up to 5 now.
Up to 5, yeah, because we guilted him into it. Phil and I talked to his mother on the phone about it. We thought it was bullshit.
Yeah, you know, I think I shied away from it because it's a girl, you know? And
Exactly. He's having a big. You sound like Greg.
Yeah. So
he couldn't get past it. It's so funny. He left me a voicemail of him feeling guilty after me and Shayne. Do you want to hear it?
Bro, yes. I was 3 deep before we left the hospital.
I know. I was like, I changed because I had 2 daughters. I changed so many fucking diapers. I don't even know how many I changed, but I certainly wasn't out of the 6 and 9 months. I'll tell you that.
Even with your daughters, Phil?
Yeah, I know what you guys are talking about, Aldo. There's that weird private part.
Yeah, right. It's
so
there's nothing really wrong with it, but you know, nobody complained that I wasn't changing them, so
you lucked out.
If it was a son, I'd be there with a fucking changing them and a fucking tape measure. See how big this dick is.
I'm doing it! I hate you! Right now, as we speak, I'm changing diapers. Right, Jenny? Yes, thank you. Yeah, I'm doing it. All right. We got it clean. Quit looking at me like that, Eddie. I hope you're happy, Phil. Here I am. I got a witness. All right, we'll get this tab over. Is that good? Yes. Did I do it? Yep. I did it.
There you go. He's got his lovely wife, Jenny, the nurse, witnessing this for him. Me and Shayne have been giving the man on the streets and in the seats such a hard time with this. So finally, he's changing diapers.
We got to keep it 100, right, Phil?
Keep it, Mr. Sunshine, Greggy Sunshine.
Yeah. Come on, guys. Can't you guys just forget about it? Let it go. We'll be happy and hug it out, and we'll put on our 12 and 4 jackets, and live it up.
12 and 4.
So here's a little Twitter update.
Oh, breaking news.
Yeah, well, Josh has eloquently followed us all back on Twitter. But when I tweeted out about his interview, I put the hashtag Fat Josh that he was telling us about. So he got a kick out of that. Well, he replied to it, and he tagged in Roquan Smith.
Oh.
So I said yes. Josh and Roquan both have to come back on Bears Barroom to talk about Fat Josh and Roquan's dancing ability. So,
my God. Job, Shayne.
All right, we are
what a show.
2:45 into the show, thereabouts. It is time for some shout-outs. And this is the part of our show where we show our appreciation to you, our lovely fans who support us with your love, your attention, your retweets, your what else do they do for us, Shayne?
Fucking nothing.
They've gotten some guests for us.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
They're always hard at work.
Yeah.
One barfly even killed me. Remember?
Heidi. Yes, indeed. All right, we always start out shout-outs with Shayne because he seems to always have the most profound shout-outs. They're ones that really touch the heart of all you barflies. Go ahead, Shayne.
I'm gonna shout out our boy tonight, our guest, Josh Woods. My phone's been blowing up here with different people, and I gotta give it to him, Aldo. You put it perfectly. He's got a future in talking about football whenever he wants it, and I gotta say, as long as I've been here doing this with you guys, that interview right there is right up, probably at the top of the list. I mean, he was no holds barred, talked about everything, was funny, was informative, and it just, I love it because I've been a Josh Woods fan, somebody that I brought up with Phil before he was even a Chicago Bear, and I thought he knocked it out of the park. I reached out to him on Instagram, and he DM'd me back almost immediately and gave me his information, and we talked back and forth, and he was great. And there's a lot of guys, I mean, as we've seen, that will say, yeah, we'll set this up, we'll do it, and go to call him, and it never comes through. Tommy Harris, but big shout out to Josh Woods, number 55. Somebody, I'm going to definitely be keeping my eye on again, because I think this kid's got a bright future on the football field and off of it whenever he wants. So, great guest.
Hey, I'm going to lower the music here before we go to Phil's shout-outs, because there's one other topic I think is worth at least 10, 15 minutes of discussion here. The Bears could consider, now I know this is going to be sacrilege to the ears of many, and it's even sacrilege to my ears, because I love this player, and I think his play.
I know where you're going.
His play is a big part of the reason why the Bears defense was the Bears defense last year, and that's Danny Trevathan. He's got a year left in his contract, but the Bears are
loaded up there.
Getting loaded up at the inside linebacker position for a reason, because I think Ryan Pace is looking down the road, whether it's this year to release Danny and start with the future inside linebacker, or next year after Danny's contract is done and it might not be possible to re-sign Danny. What are your thoughts? Let me start with Shayne first, and then we'll go to Phil. What are your thoughts on the possibility of Danny Trevathan, maybe being dropped this season or not re-signed next year?
In terms of them, I mean, I think it would all come down if it was something that they moved off of him this year. I think it's for a big move that's going to be in store. I still think that there's going to be a big move for Ryan Pace in this free agency. But in terms of Danny Trevathan, I totally agree. I mean, you have Nick Kwiatkowski, Josh Woods, Iggy. You have all these guys that can man the middle along with Roquan. Danny Trevathan is at the point now where he's finally healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it's any coincidence that he had his best season, I think, as a pro. And I just look at him as one of those guys I could not move off of him. If somebody – it's a lot the same with Jordan Howard. He's going to have value out there to teams, some a little bit more, but I don't think – what are you going to get for him? A third rounder? Maybe, if you're lucky, a fourth.
Right.
Probably.
Right.
He's worth so much more to that with this team. Mm-hmm. He's a tone setter. He's a guy that I think people look up to in the locker room. He's a Super Bowl champ. He's been to the mountaintop. He's been there. He's done it, and he's been there and lost two, I believe. Did he play in both? Right. Yeah, because he lost with Fox and then won it with Kubiak, correct?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. So
no, he came over with Fox.
He came over with Fox. That's correct.
Oh, is that what it was?
Fox.
Yeah.
Yeah, you called that.
Yeah.
So you never...
Right, but I thought But didn't he play 1 year with Kubiak?
I don't
think so.
I'll check it out. You continue.
Well, because he won a Super Bowl in Denver.
I thought he came the year Fox was hired.
No, I don't think so. I think Fox was here because he won a Super Bowl in Denver, and Kubiak won the Super Bowl in Denver.
Let's see. Danny T left Denver in 2015. So you're right, because Fox came over in 2015. So after Fox left, Trevathan stayed in Denver for 1 year, won the Super Bowl, and then came to the Bears. You're right.
So he did. There you go.
Yeah, because he's been to the Super Bowl and they got blown out with Fox, and then he went back. You know, you can take little things like that and build off. You know, that stuff matters. You know, you see him in the playoffs. The Bears didn't get it done. You know, Danny Trevathan is probably one of the only guys on the defense that's been through that and been to the mountaintop. And it just, you know, I like I said, I put Jordan Howard in the same category. If somebody comes up to you and offers you a 5th round draft pick for Jordan Howard, why would you ever do that? And it's going to come down to money, unfortunately. I know Phil doesn't like to hear that, but there's no way in hell I'm moving off of Danny Trevathan this year to pick up a what is his contract, Aldo, if they moved off of him this year?
I'll tell you in a second.
Because there can't be any bonus money left. They're very, 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 very minimal.
I'm all desperate to wonder who the hell the linebacker inside backers were when Fox first got here. I can't even remember. That's all that's on my mind now.
All right, so there's a dead cap of 7.65, and a cap hit, I should say, and the dead cap money would be 1.2. So dropping him is a savings of about $6.4 million.
Well, you got to look. I don't think Kwiatkowski's the guy.
Well, and that was my next question. Is, you know,
he doesn't have the speed that is necessary in this defense. We saw that. Phil, do you remember in
Shane, update? Just because I was fixated, I've totally forgot Pillows McLennan.
Oh my God! Yeah.
Who do you remember? Who do you remember? That was another millisecond tweet delete.
Yeah.
All his love for Shayne McClellan. And do you remember his sidekick? This is crazy.
It wasn't DJ Williams, was it?
Yeah,
I think it was. DJ Williams and Christian Jones.
Jones. Yeah.
Jeez.
Remember how upset people were when Christian Jones went to Detroit?
Yeah, I was crying.
Yeah.
But Nick Kwiatkowski is another guy that I actually went to overthecap.com and started playing around with the salary cap. They've got a feature there where you can manipulate the salary cap by extending contracts, cutting people, and so forth. And I was able to free up $30 million in cap space by extending the contract of the Chase Daniel, the second string quarterback, and cutting a few players. And one of the players that I cut was Nick Kwiatkowski, because of my feeling that Joel and our guest from tonight, Woods, would fill in properly, you know, as a backup inside linebacker. So, you know, I still think that And this all depends on Ryan Pace's master plan. He's going to take a look at who's available at the safety position, and maybe he really, really wants to bring back both Callahan and Amos, and also play it safe to make sure he's got money to extend guys like Cody Whitehair and extend Leonard Floyd, because that's huge too. He's got to look down the road another season and extend these guys and make sure that he has money. And then when it comes down to Trubisky, even if the salary cap is going up $10 million every year, there's still going to be a little bottleneck there in 2 or 3 years where you got to make sure you got enough money, and so certain players do have to go. And I think that the Bears potentially have played this very smart at the inside linebacker position. If they keep Danny T another year, then Joel and Josh Woods are that much better to inherit an inside linebacker position.
I totally agree. And one thing that you have to take into consideration with these contracts is you have the ultimate contract there to gain money from, and I'm sure you know where I'm going with this, is number 52. When you have that monstrous deal. You saw Philadelphia yesterday took Lane Johnson's cap number from like $8.9 million this season down to $850,000 to gain cap space. Now they're taking from him now, and they're going to pay for it later. The Bears did that with Julius Peppers, and that's why they ended up having to release him when they did,
right?
Because his cap number got so huge. But you
can always manipulate the cap.
Yeah, absolutely. And how old is Trevathan? He was very young coming in. I think he was a 20-year-old rookie. I think he signed with the Bears as a 28. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I think he signed with the Bears at 25.
Yeah. I'm for keeping him. And
but don't you think he brings a lot more than just what he does on the field, Phil? Don't you think he's a locker room guy?
I think Josh Woods was so good at articulating even beyond the question, because we're like asking the question, but I think he tapped into it, how close they are and how important that was. And I think continuity, I know he was like, if you're slow, maybe you didn't get that he's talking about how instrumental Adrian Amos is, and how he's communicating and yada yada yada. But I think you could see the camaraderie of that linebacker core, the importance of Trevathan for Roquan Smith and these young backers. If it's a 1-year deal and then these guys are moving on in, of course they want to get in and play, but I think you could play with the cap otherwise. I'm with Shayne in saying his presence, his leadership is very, very instrumental to this team. Now, we could be wrong, and Pagano could come in and they don't mesh or what have you, but because of what you're saying, Aldo, the team itself is so talented. Well, I think, these guys with you, the things I saw from Kwiatkowski were disappointing.
The speed's not there.
It's like he lost the twitchiness.
Yeah, he did.
It's like, he's hesitating and things you don't want to see. But then to his defense on tape, when it was rundowns and you're in goal line situations, he's in there filling the gap and doing that. But when it was isolated and you're in the middle of the field, they're taking advantage of him. You knew exactly where they were going to go. In that Green Bay game, I'm like, Jesus Christ, they're going to run another crosser. Hello, can we here it comes. You're letting Aaron Rodgers pick you apart. He's going right after Kwiatkowski.
Aldo, you make a great point, is these Ryan Pace especially, he's a very calculated person. NFL teams are very calculated. They stocked up at that position for a reason.
Yeah.
We know Roquan's not going anywhere. It is a dollars and cents game. No matter what you say, it's going to come down to that. And they invested in Kwiatkowski. They invested in Iggy. Those are both fourth rounders. They thought enough of Josh Woods to keep him around. I mean, you heard him say Ryan Pace was very excited You know, to have him listen when he was talking about being handed the tablet on the sideline during the games. He's not even an undrafted free agent guy. He was a tryout guy. They're doing that for a reason because they see something in this kid. You know what I mean? Sure. He's talking about Coach Pyers.
Right.
Takes the Surface Pro and hands it to him. Phil, they're not just doing that to anyone.
Well, that's what I said. That's brilliant. That's
coaching.
That's
what we've been waiting for.
The best coaches do stuff like that. Yep. Exactly. Yep. That's a patented. From my coaching tree, that's what you do. You let them teach what you've taught them to see if they can communicate. And those types of players that, I mean, in what, Aldo, 10 minutes time, you recognize Josh Woods, his personality is electric, as well as his ability to articulate what it is that he's, been through and where he's going. And you got to be excited. When he said 240 pounds, I was excited.
That's big time.
That's big time.
You know what they have him listed at on the Chicago Bears website?
What, 220?
204.
It's just the four. Larry's fault. Yeah. The 4 and the 0.
But one thing that we have to take into consideration, too, is while we're talking about Danny Trevathan, is I don't think it's always just financial with a player like that. Danny Trevathan has as much of an injury history as any player on this roster. I mean, he's torn ligaments in his knees. You've seen him with the back. You've seen him with his other knee. He's been nicked up a lot. This year he was this past year he was finally healthy. We heard Vic talk about it. Danny didn't have to have a surgery, during the offseason. He was here for that. So the Bears are planning for that too by bringing in these multiple guys. And you know who the magic elixir in all of this is? We just heard Josh Woods. These players know how he was talking about Roquan Smith like he was a mythical creature, like he was a fucking offensive guard from Notre Dame.
Was that smart?
But no, seriously,
you're right.
He's a guy that's gonna. He's so good. He's going to cover up. Why do you think that Danny Trevathan had his best season because he was finally healthy, or do you think it's because he has this fucking guy beside him, this number 58? But it's seriously though. No. I mean, it's all part of it. These coaches, the front office, they know that we're not there for all of this stuff. Who knows what? I think of an Iggy and Roquan combo. I just think about the fucking speed element of that would be insane. But I love everything that Danny Trevathan brings to this team.
I'm there with you. Love the analysis. Had to get that in before we resume shoutouts, and it is time to get back to it. Draft Dr. Phil, you're up.
Got to get me back on track. I want to shout out Lil Nicky.
Nicky
Pockets is back.
Yes.
He's back.
He's back. I'm happy to see that he's back. He DM'd me and texted me. He's in trouble with his health, but he's back. So great for him. I want to shout out all the guys that went on the air tonight. It just did a tremendous job. All of them. Sandlin, Tooch, Blarissimo, Matt Beck, a Badger, Ryan Badgley. Any other ones that went on tonight that I missed?
You got them all.
Aaron Curran.
He started us off. Yeah.
Started us off.
Awesome.
So,
with the southern twang.
With that Kentucky love accent. I want to shout out Robert Jenkins from across the pond, a barfly. Ronnie Malazzo and his wife.
Oh, you're going to say Ronnie Mund.
Shout out Ronnie Mund, the limo driver. Joshua Acton. He's a huge barfly. Ben Alexander. The Cowbear. Nate Giovanone. T-Dog from across the pond reached out to me and Shayne and told us what bar means to him. Oh, Zimmerman also. Shout out to you for your audition tape tonight. Joe Kennedy, Jason Lipman, Ryan Cox, Ryan RMX34, Michael Nas, Joe Moscone. Hey, I want to shout Ash Smashley Bear. For support. Heidi, of course, has been so supportive. DJ Vigi, and my last shout out. I'm looking through. Oh, happy birthday to Georgie.
Georgie. He's back.
Oh, George. Nice.
Georgie Jackish. My last shout out, though, is to St. Pendulous, Aaron Mikulowski.
Nice. Well done. I've got a few. I want to, again, thank Dan Aguirre for his excellent announcer work. You guys put him to really good use. That's been a great ad.
We almost gave him a heart attack tonight.
Yeah, we did.
You want to share that story or just leave it there?
I wish we could call him up.
I just got home and Dan had told me that he'd have the drop to me by 7 p.m. Eastern. So at 6:55 exactly, Phil texts him. He's like, "Dano, don't forget about me. I need that drop, buddy." And he said
like,
back with, "Oh shit,
I am.
Yeah.
Glad you said something. I got hammered with high school basketball as soon as I got here, but I will get it done now."
He's been sick and under the weather, so he's fought through it just like a trooper and come through for us with those drops, and they are fucking awesome.
He's a great guy.
Fucking love Dan.
And
the best.
You got to bring him back on.
Yes, absolutely. That's a must for end of March. The Tooch, I want to thank him for taking me out to lunch. As many times as I tried to grab the check, he just would not do it. And the Tooch is a pretty big guy, so I wasn't going to fight him over it. Bobby Bombs, thank you for reaching out, Bobby. And Bobby has been, he not only protects the country in his role as a service member, but he also is looking out for me and sending me a tweet every once in a while when he doesn't hear from me and saying, "Are you okay, man? You need to talk?" Like, the guy is like not only a military hero, he's like a psychiatrist too. So Bobby Bombs, thank you very much. A shout out to you. Danny Shimon, a shout out to Danny. Like you said, Phil, the guy's been doing a hell of a job in that Twitter machine. Stepping up. We had a talk at the Senior Bowl, and I said, "You motherfucker, you don't tweet enough." I want to shout out Chad Trent, the Poobah. He reached out to me with some very encouraging words when he heard about the Barroom NFL legal stuff, which, by the way, is an update to that. Their last communique with me was about 3 weeks ago. I ignored it. They haven't contacted me, so maybe they forgot about us. We'll see. Chris Bodwich also. Chris reached out to me and with some very encouraging words, and I really appreciate those words, Chris. And then my buddy James Kessel, who I want to have on the show one of these days just because he's one of the funniest fucking guys I've ever met.
Kessel.
And he's also a Dallas Cowboy fan, so we can fuck with him until he fucking...
Oh, we play them this year.
That's right. Oh, man, we got to do a show with James on Cowboy Week because that would be funny as hell. This guy has got a great sense of humor. He's a freelance director. He does commercials and TV shows in town. Yeah, a very talented director. And
where the fuck's our barroom commercial?
I know. Can we get one?
That's right. I should hit him up for that. Hey, how about a little freebie here, Mr. Director? All right, guys. Remember, if you drink, please do not drive, and always bear down.
Bear down.
Bear down. Thanks, Fat Josh.
Hashtag Fat Josh in the morning on the promo.
He's gonna regret bringing that
but
up.
Actually, he wants to know as soon as it drops. He wants to listen, so you're gonna have to definitely put hashtag Fat Josh in the promo.
Actually, I talked to Tooch about doing some graphics to help out by doing some. He is a graphic designer.
Yeah.
So doing some graphics for BHL and Bears 100 Proof to do these whatever guests we have on the show to lighten the Gandiva's load, if you will.
Yeah,
Phil and I got some ideas on Tooch.
Oh yeah,
good.
We got a great idea how to use Tooch. We'll talk about that off.
We're gonna send them to Packers Barroom.
We should. The three of us are supposed to have a staff meeting soon. We should record it and put it on our podcast as a premium. You pay $5, you get to hear us talking about people.
Behind the scenes.
That'd be awesome.
Behind the scenes.
All right, fellas. It is 12:30 out east, 11:30 in Chicago. You guys want to say goodnight?
Good night. See you next week, you bitches.
See you soon. Hey, Chris Blewit, come on the show.